everyone. It is Thursday night. Welcome to the final NLG show of 2021.
For a second, I thought you was the final.
The last one ever?
Yeah.
Good night, everyone, and it's been great. Just kidding, everyone. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. What's going on, everyone? It's great to see you all. Look at this. Look at this motley chat room already hopping. Yeah, Jesse Darby, Project Jeff, Shizno Elite, Back from the Dead, Masuko, Matt, brother Matt Byrnes making a New Year's appearance in the chat. Right. Brother Graphic God, brother John Retro Bro, and Rebel Railroad Productions, who I met in chat when we were on Monday night on Retro Roots. Welcome to our show. BMG, Black Metal Gamer, my brother, my brother in crime on Halo Infinite multiplayer. He's here. He is out making deliveries tonight. Kenna is the new Zelda. Come at me. Brother Back is in the house. So what is going on, everybody? Welcome to a special edition. And all, let's see, how did they do it on TV? Tonight, on a special NLG show.
We need to get Princess Zelda to do like a little special intro or something saying, we can just remember. Were you there when on the was it Iconic Gaming podcast Friday when she did she was reading like an intro to what was it, that one game, and everybody's like, "Man, that sounded good." Sounded sexy. I can't remember what the game was, but
all right.
Well, we could get MAGG to do it.
We might, if not Zelda, MAGG. Oh my God, we got to get MAGG to make us like a intro bumper for our intro. We got to commission him to do some crazy shtick for us for our intro.
Or maybe how like on Retro Renegades they have the little deal where you can, they do their little pop-up deals where little sayings, like they have Sonic and YOBY, like they have all the quotes and stuff like that. Little. Maybe we should get something like that, and we just have quotes from different people, gaming community, pop up every once in a while.
We do that.
Huh. Yeah.
All right, mine is, but I shot first.
What?
That's my slogan. But I shot first because I'm the one that dies.
Nice.
Whataburger, everybody. Whataburger.
Yeah.
Whataburger.
Whataburger. We don't have that here.
I haven't had Whataburgers in I don't know, a long time.
One day.
Yeah, we had it here.
Yeah. Yeah,
we
Florida.
Don't have it up in
I
Maryland.
remember when my mom got one in Tallahassee, and my brother got one in Panama City.
It was great. I used to love it, except for the fact that I found out that you can customize every burger and add everything to it into the combo. And then one meal would end up being like $30.
Yeah. Can add up.
See, that's how they get you. They don't get you on the main stuff, right?
No. Well, the main stuff was kind of pricey too for our area.
I mean, everything's gone up. But Whataburger is my preferred fast food burger place, joint to go. I don't go to McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and nah.
We don't have a choice. We don't have any of that stuff. We've got Five Guys here.
Oh, Five Guys.
And they're good, but they're expensive.
They're good.
But I heard they might be going out of
business. That's pricing.
I don't get their fries anymore because their fries are just.
Yeah, I love their fries.
Yeah, because they're. Because you go to Five Guys, you just you get your burger and you ask for small fries because they just throw a bunch in the bag.
Oh yeah. It's like one cup of small fries
that way. That's it.
Then a scoop for
Yeah.
For good luck.
Well, now there's a
Good luck.
TikTok
Yeah.
hack where you order a double cheeseburger or something like that, double burger, and then and then you get a side of buns on the side, and then you split the sandwich, and there you go, you get 2 for 1. But I'm like, is it really? You're still paying more money.
Oh, Nick says we're getting a steak and shake here.
Yeah, we have one
nice.
here, and I still
That'd
have
be
to
nice.
try that one of these days.
Back to that. So they have Red Robin. We have Red Robin too. Red
We got
Robin
one
is
too.
Yeah.
also very expensive.
It is.
But the fries are good. And
fries are good.
unlimited
They give you the
bottomless.
unlimited.
And
Yeah.
their burgers are great, but it's expensive.
You like how this turned in from the end of the year talking about game of the year, and then here we are talking about
Food.
burger joints. Yeah.
Hey,
food.
that's not my
That's just the
fault.
way it goes.
That is
No,
not
it's
my
not.
fault. You started it.
I did.
This is a
What about
fast food
Sonic?
cast, people. We have Sonic here.
Whataburger
Sonic
wants
is
to-
not bad.
If you want to sponsor NLG, next level
Yeah.
gaming, next level burger.
I'll tell you what. I went to Perry in Florida, and the first time we went there, we met up at a Sonic with some my brother's Navy buddies, and that Sonic had the best burgers I've ever had in forever. So when they came down here towards Central Florida, I was like all about it, and I was so depressed. It sucks so bad.
No.
It's funny how you overhype certain foods.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we were really hungry that day when we got there. And that's all.
Yeah, Sonic is not what it used to be.
No, it's not.
The quality has gone down, and I don't really like that either.
They have
Same
great
thing-
shakes though.
Yeah. Same thing with Checkers. Checkers used to be great. And they're still okay. Or Rallies, depending on where you're at in the country.
Yeah, we have Checkers. What else do we have? We used to have Fuddruckers here, and they closed.
Oh
them
yeah,
down.
that
We-
was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, those
I
were
think
awesome.
we might have one, but the thing is, they were tied with Lubies. I don't know if y'all have Lubies where y'all are at, but
Mm-mm.
I guess they have went bankrupt, and so they closed a couple here. We might have to have one, but
We've got another. It's not specifically a burger joint, but they have really good burgers. We've got a place called the Green Turtle, which is a Maryland. I mean, it's literally a Maryland chain. It's based out of Ocean City, which is where we're headed to tomorrow. So
Nice.
yeah.
Cool.
Well, I thought we were headed there today, so we weren't going to have this show. But then all of a sudden, my wife said, "Oh, we're going to go Friday to Sunday instead of Thursday to Saturday." Okay. So here we are.
Nice.
So, and good evening, Carla. It's good to see you and Nicholas Dabry.
yeah, man, chat's popping.
Chat is popping.
Appreciate
Oh.
everybody. Yeah.
Oh,
Happy day
AEW.
before New Year's. Happy
Yeah.
New Year's
Yeah.
Eve before New Year's Eve.
Yes. Oh,
The
see
Eve-
now, Roy Rogers. We had Roy Rogers.
Oh, Roy Rogers. Yeah.
We
Oh,
had Roy
funny
Rogers.
story. I hated to go to Roy Rogers because my first encounter, one of the first fast food restaurants like setting wrong food here in the States was Roy Rogers, and it did not give my change back. I handed them a 20, and it's like I don't know what they gave me back. It was like that's not even close to any of the bill nominations you have here.
Wow.
So it's like okay.
Like y'all have White Castle up there, where you're at, Mike, Peter? Because I mean that's not down here. I saw
think
someone
there's-
put crystals, and we had one here in San Antonio at one point. I didn't like it. First time I had crystals was, I think, in Mississippi, but
Yep.
and it was okay, but not.
We
my-
got the official in Orlando, we got the largest White Castle building. So they just built it not too long ago. And it's supposedly the biggest White Castle in the US.
I'm surprised they haven't come further down south. Like where I'm at. They've been real popular for years.
They seem to stay on the East Coast, but
Yeah.
I know Crystals is around. And it's the same difference, but it's not the same.
No, that's
Yeah.
what I've heard people that.
Yeah, my wife is always like, "Oh, let's go." And every time we go, she gets sick. But it's like, it's just like Crystals. I'm like, do you get sick? Or just like White Castle? I'm like, do you get sick with that? She's like, no. I'm like, well, then it's not the same.
Yeah.
But I mean, Bojangles, that's some good. I love Bojangles
Oh,
for
we do.
breakfast.
We had one of those here, and somewhere in the state is still a Long John Silver's.
Oh wow, yeah, we probably
Yeah.
have maybe one here.
I'm trying to think. I think the White Castles are down, Peter, almost where you are. I don't think there are any up here in Maryland.
Castle? Yeah, they're not anywhere close, I don't think.
Yeah,
Oh.
they we had a Bojangles down here, but they put it in a really rough neighborhood. And I get the theory of the demographic, but it was in a bad neighborhood, and I didn't care. I drove over there. I was during work hours, and I'm driving up there, and they're looking at me, and I'm like, I want some biscuits,
Yeah.
the chicken biscuit. And but yeah, they didn't do too well. Like I said, it was the food was still good, but it just they weren't making the money. And somewhere further north in Florida, when I drove to Atlanta for to see my grandmother before she passed, we found Bojangles, and I hit like every single one going up once I saw them, and then on the way back down, I made sure I hit every single one. And it's like Jack in the Box when I went to Texas. As soon as I saw Jack in the Box on the side of the highway, we shifted over, hit all those mini tacos. You get like 2 mini tacos, get back on the road, hit the next exit that they're at, get another 2 mini tacos. But it's like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is the only time we're going to have a chance to do this. I'm not going to order 6 at the same time.
Yeah.
We're going to keep getting them fresh. And then
we used to do that.
Way.
Me and the roommate, we would go out partying, and Jack in the Box is one of those that's open 2 a.m., overnight. Yeah, and that's what we get. Cheap tacos back in the day. But other than that, I don't really care for any of their other stuff. I haven't really eaten. We hear people call it Jack in the Crack. That's what I grew up in Corpus, we didn't have it there, but San Antonio had them. And then when I would come up and I saw it, and say, "Hey, what's that? Jack in the Box?" And my dad and them would say, "Oh, that's Jack in the Crack." Okay. I guess to some people it's not really good, but but they have some unique stuff,
Yeah.
But mainly for us, like around work, it's all about. We have a couple local burger places that have been around. Like one place that I remember going in the early '90s. It was by the Air Force Base, and they're still around. And another one, it's been around 30 years, and so we hit those places for lunch once in a while. So.
Nice. Oh, welcome, General Spartan. Here in Illinois, the closest White Castles from Springfield are in either Collinsville or Chicago. Hang on, I got to catch up on a few things here. By the way, Rebel Railroad Production says he is going to get totally hammered tomorrow. There you go. Good evening to Masuko. I think I got Masuko. I might have got him earlier. If I did not. Happy New Year, Sister Lupa. Brother DJC, Brother Chuck.
Lady Foxfire.
Yep, Sister Lady Foxfire. Who else popped in here? Oh, Zombie. I missed Zombie JLT1. What's up, Zombie? Project Jeff. If I didn't say hi to Project Jeff, I'm saying hi now. I think I got everybody caught up. What a great chat we got going on, man. And they're all, as usual, we're talking fast food joints. They're talking fast food joints. Because that is what our chat does. Is they're just that friggin' awesome.
And now everybody's hungry.
Yeah, everybody's.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Sorry, you're welcome.
Sorry, not sorry.
1 hour intro.
Yeah. You know what, Matt? You can get the frozen White Castle. We can get. I can get those.
I think I've seen that.
He said they're pretty darn close.
Yeah, the frozen ones we've had them. We bought them at Sam's Club and some other local grocery stores, and they're not bad for what they are. They're frozen, but they're not bad.
Oh, all right. So enough about food. How's everybody doing on this pre New Year's Eve? What are you all
Good.
up to?
The
Good.
eve of
I'm off
New
tomorrow.
Year's Eve.
Can't
Oh, you're
complain.
off tomorrow.
Off tomorrow, off the weekend. Yep.
Nice. Peter, you off tomorrow? Or you've been off all week?
Yes, I was off all week. It was nice. Saw some couple of light shows. Well, no, just one. At the Six Flags.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
Zombie says donating plasma and stream hopping. Wow, that's awesome, Zombie. Dude, that's great. Are you guys finally going to play Pac-Man? You never know. You never know what's going to happen here. Now I got to go looking for Pac-Man.
Super Pac-Man, the new one.
yeah, which one?
Well, there could be, oh, I don't know. Could be the original, could be. Oh. Hold on. This is for you, Chuck. I think this is the Pac-Man from the Xbox
I don't know, is that the-
Live Arcade.
Oh, okay, yeah.
1980, 2006, Namco Bandai.
Well, it
Yeah.
says 2006 as well, which could be Xbox Live Arcade. What that game room. So,
Well, yeah, it says Return to Arcade.
Pac-Man the art, Pac-Man a cartoon.
No,
I
I
remember that cartoon.
Yeah.
We were talking
about
about
that
that on
movie?
Monday.
Isn't that
That's where
called
he got
Pac-Man?
that from. We were talking about that on Monday. Monday night. We were talking. Somehow we got to see. This is not the only show. Somehow we got into old '80s cartoons, gaming. Old '80s video game cartoons. So we were talking about that. There was a Dragon's Lair cartoon.
Oh, I love that one.
Mhm.
Dungeon
I
and Dragon.
Yeah.
Yep. Of course, the Mario cartoon.
Zelda.
Right, The Legend of Zelda.
Actually,
I don't
had
remember that one so
I bought
much,
the
though.
DVD.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Well, excuse me. No, wait. It was right. Did he followed
Yeah.
up with Princess, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Excuse
Yes.
me,
Excuse
Princess.
Princess.
We
Oh,
sat
my
down. My
goodness.
wife and I were watching it, and my daughter's looking at us like, "This isn't that great." She's like 6 at the time.
Because you don't know. She doesn't know. Hold on. I believe I still have. I think I still. Yeah. Pac-Man World Rally.
Oh,
Yes, there was a cart game for Pac-Man. Just in case you wanted to know.
I always wanted to play it. Never. It's one of those games that you know about at the time, and you're always like, "I'll come back to that later and buy it." You never do.
And you never do.
We need
I
more
have a-
cart
I have-
games.
I have some old screenshots and stuff from the old Pac-Man games that we did that we covered on NLG. So like Pac-Man Fever, Pac-Man Versus, Pac-Man World 2 and 3. All right, enough of that.
I love the
So-
Pac-Man music. I mean, it's
Oh, I do too.
it just iconic. I remember first playing Pac-Man. I guess it would be at the arcade, and of course on the Atari 2600 when we get that. But I also remember getting for Christmas a handheld Pac-Man. It was like yellow, it was round, and kind of in the shape of Pac-Man. I had the screen, and that was, I had that thing with me everywhere, and just loved it.
We had the mini arcade Pac-Man. It was like probably 6 inches tall.
Mm.
So
Okay.
like that, and Galaga, I think it was.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, Zombie said all we need is the Pac-Man cereal and canned pasta.
Oh,
So
I remember the cereal. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember the cereal.
I remember the cereal
Pasta.
too. In fact, I found it. Here's the cereal. Hold on. There's the cereal.
Yeah. I mean, that's how they got us back in. You know, of course, all the traditional cereals, and then you start coming out with the
Yep.
game cereals for gaming.
And here's the pasta. Oh, wow, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pasta. There you go.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find a bigger picture of the pasta spaghetti sauce with cheese
See,
flavor.
I remember that advertisement.
Oh, here we go. It's too bad. If I can blow it up some. There we go. Pasta in chicken flavored sauce.
Chicken flavored.
I don't know about all that, but
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it doesn't mean it has real chicken in there. It just
Well, the ghosts are all chickens now.
Oh, DJC. So DJC had the Coleco Pac-Man tabletop. I had that one. I had Galaxian, and I had Frogger. Were the three that I had. I did not have the Donkey Kong one. I had the Game & Watch Donkey Kong.
Nice. I want to make a tabletop. The two-sided one like you showed a little bit ago. I think it'd be kind of cool to make one of those glass tops like that.
Well, that would be cool.
Right. Make it bar top height so that way you have to have bar stools. You could stand. You don't have to worry about like sitting down. So something like that I think it'd be kind of cool just as like a little set piece.
I'm thinking about getting a rug for my kind of man cave here, and getting it with something like that, either a Pac-Man or a
That'd be cool.
Space Invaders or something retro. You know, to go along with all the modern stuff that's in there. So
That'd be cool.
All right, so what have you guys all been up to from the gaming standpoint? I know what Peter's been doing.
What has he been doing?
Peter has been playing what was that game? What was it on the Switch you've been playing?
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one, that game, you know. Traylo or something like that.
Traylo, yeah. The master chef.
The master chef, right?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Dan White?
Halo Infinite, finished the campaign. It's quite some multiplayer. Really digging that. Although sometimes I don't understand the mechanism of what, how you get not the how you die after you strike first and strike hard and all that good stuff.
And no mercy for you.
And no mercy at all. But still having fun with that. Also did some Far Cry, picked it back up again.
Oh, wow.
After
Far Cry 6, right?
Far Cry 6, yeah. After I finished the Halo campaigns, I'm back playing that a little bit. Forza Horizon, obviously, for the seasons.
New season, yeah.
And new season started today. Haven't
done
anything yet. Maybe tomorrow or day after or something like that. So a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, you've been busy. What about you, Chris?
Lots of Halo campaign. I think was it last week or a couple of weeks ago? We all jumped online. We were playing Halo Infinite online. Oh, that was last week, right? When we streamed.
Yeah, that was last week's stream and chat.
Yeah, and
which of course was good stuff.
And then got my daughter at the the Mario Kart circuit.
Oh, the live home circuit. Yeah.
Yeah, so we set that up, and that's real neat. And then of course I watched your deal when Seth got his, and y'all showed that, and yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. And then my daughter, because we're going to Disney World in March, so I downloaded the Minecraft Magic Kingdom, and it's a recreation of Magic Kingdom to scale. Every detail, all the rides you can get on the rides. It has all the music and
cool.
everything. I mean, yeah, it's great.
But that's
If you have kids
Disneyland.
and you want them to kind of just explore Magic Kingdom and Minecraft, they like Minecraft. Yeah, it's
Nice.
great.
So it's not Disneyland then.
No, well,
I've seen people confuse Disneyland with Disney World.
they do,
So.
but Magic Kingdom is in Disney World, right?
Yes.
Okay, but Disneyland has a similar, pretty much the same type of they call
It has the
setup,
same
right?
layout. Yeah,
Yeah.
it has the same layout where it's straight up into the center, and then you fan out from there. But you don't have to go in the center to fan out. You can actually go around. But that's that style where you fan out, and each direction is a different, let's say, continent, world, or style.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's real cool, and you can get on every ride that's an actual Magic Kingdom. So I recommend that. Other than that, I mean, I need to get back to Far Cry 6, and like Peter was saying, do some Forza Horizon 5. I want to check out that new season. So, but man, like Myke was saying, you were saying the other day, like the Halo Infinite campaign, that just has me hooked. I haven't really been thinking about any other game. Yeah. I know we're going to talk about it here soon, but love it.
And what about you, Dread?
Love.
What have you been doing?
Oops, I was muted. I got to tell you, last week was phenomenal. Having 12 members of the community, friends, more so than members, but just all of us playing and rocking and rolling on that. What was that called? With the 3 points.
Oh, Stronghold.
Stronghold. There you go. I want to say Conquest, but I'm like, it's not it. Yeah, Stronghold. That. I still say that's the fastest I've seen anybody.
Oh, we dominated. Good God.
Oh yeah, that was so cool.
That was fun.
I know Dread, me, you, and Jago, man. We had a couple good matches there.
Yeah.
At the end of that night.
Yeah, you guys stuck around, but man, when we could get in, and we'll talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah.
When we could get in to those big team battles.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
With the 12 of us.
Yeah.
That was something special.
That was great.
That was something special.
Yeah, that was fun. I've been let's see. I've been mostly been trying to keep up with the dailies for the winter fiesta thing. And so far, because I haven't really been paying attention to it, so far if I miss one day, I'm okay. If I miss 2 days, then I won't get everything. So whatever. It's not what it's about, but it's cool to have stuff like that for free. So but I've been doing a lot of SWAT with Halo. I've been doing a lot of multiplayer, playing with other friends in the community. I've been doing a lot of streaming, and it's picking up. I've had people like commenting how clear it is, because I've been streaming at 1440p, and I guess because I've been doing some research on it, apparently everybody's still streaming like at 1080 or 720 because they want to keep those FPSs up. And I'm like, I'm doing 1440p 60. So I don't understand what they're doing, but I'm almost like doing a double PC setup where the main PC is doing the streaming, and then instead of having a second PC, I've got the Xbox, which is doing the gaming part of it. So I'm capturing and streaming from one to the next. I guess that's why it's doing that, but it's kind of it's cool to see people actually notice it and kind of give feedback on there. I had one game where 343 didn't even bother filling in any players that left. We had 2 players that left, and we were playing SWAT, and it was myself and another random, and we smoked them, smoked the other team. It was just the 2 of us, and they didn't even give us anybody to fill in.
They didn't even give you like bots to fill in with?
No. I even posted it on Twitter. It was funny. It was like nobody came in. It was just like the 2 people that were there, and they had nothing across the board, and they didn't even give us any bots. Because I even looked. I was like, where's the rest of the team? And we're not even communicating. It's just the 2 of us just going back and forth, trying to take kills from each other. And I'm like, where's the rest of the team? Because I only see like one other person on my team, and I pop it up, and it just shows that the other 2 team members had already left, but they weren't filling in. Nobody from 343, no bots came in and filled in. So it was kind of cool. Like I said, this is the first Halo that brings me back to the original Halo, where it was fun to play, no matter if you're on the bottom or you're on the top.
Yeah, I've made similar comments to.
I have. Yeah.
But
the
I've been trying
the issue is getting into the matches sometimes.
Yeah,
That's
when you have
really
big
issue.
parties, yeah, that's a bad issue, and hopefully they address it in the next week.
I hope so too.
Yeah, I'm sure they will work on that.
We were doing some big team battle with. When was it? Was it yesterday or day before? No, not yesterday. Day before, maybe. And it was like mostly successful. We had like a fire team of 4.
And you were getting. Yeah,
we were getting in. I mean, once in a while you get like, hey, disconnected, but that was like,
I would take once in a while over what we were.
Yeah, that was once in a while. Yeah, when we were doing that with that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why big team battle when you have 12, because now they got to find enough people on the other side to fill in there. I can understand it, being a little slower, but nothing like what we experienced.
Yeah, what we experienced was frustrating as all get out.
Yeah.
So.
But I would say overall that Xbox and 343 have done a great job. When the beta came out, everything seemed pretty smooth, and then you get more people. Of course, over the holiday, you get more people jumping in. I know it's not easy, but
no,
they definitely have a team, dedicated to, managing that. So
now imagine if they didn't have the beta, and now imagine if they just released it like during their normal launch, where we would be. And now imagine if they actually released it in November, like we all thought they were going to release it, where they would have had a month. Well, not even a month. They would have had at least 2 weeks to be able to work on everything. Maybe 3 weeks, depending on how many of their people would leave before Christmas. So now imagine if, you know what I mean? Imagine if they pushed it out in November. Could we still be in the same predicament right now, where a lot of people are feeling a little bit on the burnt side when it comes to big team battle, which I mean, all things considered, yeah, but at the same time, when you're a new person and you just got a console and you're just getting into this, it's a bad taste in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, everybody's hype. Yeah, everybody's hyping Halo, and here I am. I can't even play right.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, it's like, are they going into big team battle or just quick matches?
That is true. Yeah.
Right. Well, if they're doing quick play, they should be able to do it no problem.
Yeah.
And even big team battle, if they're doing it like a solo, it shouldn't be too bad. I've been loaded into a few matches in the middle of the match, so somebody's doing something.
All right, well, we've segued right into Halo Infinite, so flipping the switch on the topic count here. But see I call it as I see it. This is something that they should have. I mean, this is not something that just popped up, the day before Christmas, right? This is something that's been going on before that. They should have seen this and fixed it so that, when we're playing is one thing, but there's a ton of people that, as we all know, got S's and X's for holidays, wanted to fire it up, maybe get some friends together, do some big team battle, and this is something they should not have left that fundamentally broken. And
But
that's
it wasn't
the problem I have.
fundamentally broken at the beginning, though. We were doing big team battles like left and right
Mhm.
without having
Yeah,
any
I know.
issues.
I know. So
I think it's
what-
just maybe it's the volume,
The added volume, yeah.
the added
Yeah.
volume. Maybe I don't know.
Oh. I think that's something they should have dealt with before taking off until the end of the year. Or at least acknowledging, hey, guys, we know this is a problem. We'll and there's just no acknowledgement of it.
I thought they have on Twitter, they have come out and acknowledged some stuff that they're working on to update. And I thought someone had mentioned over the that Christmas holiday, they had like a small team working on it, trying to manage.
They'll
yeah.
always have a small team working on stuff like that.
Yeah.
With holidays, there's no way around it. You have to have.
Well, I'm sure you've got
some
people
sort
on
of
call.
IT people. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
I mean,
even though Xbox, Call of Duty, all these big
Look at Call of Duty. That
I
was
know.
like the previous one.
Battlefield.
I don't know about this one because I don't hear anybody playing it. No, I'm playing it myself.
Yeah.
But the previous one, that one was like broken for so long, crashes and
Yeah, a buddy of mine at work says that him and his sons play Warzone. They're not really on Vanguard. Was it Vanguard? Because
Vanguard is
there are a
yeah,
lot of
it's the
glitches,
most current one.
stuff here and there, and so they prefer playing on Warzone. I mean, these companies have a lot of money, right? They invest a lot of money on trying to manage the online servers and all. It's not easy. It's definitely, because you can do betas all you want, but once it goes live to everybody, it's hard for them to really, predict everything that could go wrong. When you got millions of people on,
You still have people that say, "Oh, it's a beta. I'm not going to play it until it's finally released because there's going to be issues. I don't want to deal with that."
Yeah.
yeah,
There will always be issues, even when there's betas and then you go live launches. No matter what, there's always been issues. Peter, right? Past you and Nate would play Call of Duty every year, right? And in the beginning, there would always be issues with
a lot of issues.
I think we had some with Gears 5, right? In the beginning, I can't remember. I didn't think it was too bad. I know we had a little bit of co-op issues with 3 of us, but
I don't know if I remember that. I remember us playing. I can never remember the name of the expansion.
Oh yeah.
Damn, what was the name of the Gears 5 expansion? Hold on.
Hive Busters.
Hive Busters, thank you.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I don't remember having a day's worth of issue with the Hive Busters. We had a great
that
time
was
with that.
great. Yeah, they did a great
you
job.
see-
I think, and they learned their lesson because I remember when me and Peter and Coop, when it was 2 of us, the co-op was fine. But then when a third one jumped in, we had issues and one of us would crash. So, and I guess they took that and learned that the issues and like you said, Hive Buster, we didn't have no problem.
See, and that's the thing is when you create a game like a platform like that, that's what's going to happen is you're going to be able to expand on it. Granted, it's not expanding on the same story, but it's expanding on another part of the story, another storyline. That's what I see Halo doing too. Same thing, like, I'm going to bring it back up again. Disney Infinity, when they came out with those, they were all part of the same game, but everything, they all had their own little play sets and this is going to be the same thing. Only we won't be calling it a playset. It'll be another ODST or whatever. Hive Busters. Same difference in that aspect where everything is already up and running. You just get a new version of the game that's attached to the old one.
Mm-hmm.
Reutilize the assets, which means those games can be pushed out even faster. Enhancement of the code to add new features and feature sets and other obstacles or items, and that'll when it comes to a platform like that, it's always growing and it's always going to be changing. So when they do figure this out, the next stuff that's coming out, just like Hive Busters, will be smoother.
Mm-hmm.
They still got to come out with the campaign, the co-op campaign. They got to fix that issue. They got to fix a couple other issues with the main campaign. From what I'm hearing, there's a couple things. I've seen people still fall, melee a grunt and fall through the floor. So, I mean, stuff like that. It's you got to remember how huge these games are.
Those things I understand. Like I'll always understand that. It's and I was just looking on Halo Support's Twitter. So they knew about this on December 16th. And on December 17th, they have a pinned tweet. The Halo Infinite team will continue to investigate ongoing Big Team Battle matchmaking errors over the next few weeks. Big Team Battle has now returned to 12v12 matches, up from its temporary reduction to 10v10. Solo players and smaller fire teams, which goes to what Peter was saying earlier, may have more success when searching. So, yeah, as we gather more concrete information, we expect to be able to share more details starting in the new year. So, basically, don't play Big Team Battle until we tell you to. Or play it by yourself, which defeats the purpose. It's, if I wanted to play it by myself, I'd play the campaign.
What's funny is I have not seen, every time I've played, I have not seen it drop down to 10. I've seen it 20. Oh, I'm sorry, 20. I've seen it where we can do up to 12.
Yeah.
Well, this was apparently something before the 17th, where they scaled it back to 10 to try to figure out what was going on. So, things, there are definitely things that are secondary issues to me that they could definitely work on. I just, when it affects your ability to enjoy the game because you're just sitting at the lobby, keep going up. I got to hit this again. Everybody get out. Everybody come back in. I'm actually very humbled that the amount of people hung for as long as they did in our Xbox party. So like Nick, who's in the chat, right? Nick was there. You were there, Dread. MAGG was there. Lupa was there, back, and we were all just, it became a joke after a while, and it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, but we had fun. I mean, you tell me any multiplayer game.
It seems like that day
that
was like extremely bad.
It was bad that day, yeah.
Yeah.
Just happened, and like Dreadpool said, that when it the big team, 12 people, just trying to. And I get what you're saying, Myke. They do need to do a better job. They know that at launch, around the holidays, that things are going to be up, and they've seen this before. They know that they're going to have issues. But you and Peter know as IT that sometimes things just happen.
I mean, it's just the skill of it,
right? I mean, yeah, just
like you can test all you want. You can have like huge beta tests and other stuff with like, a ton of users. It never represents an actual live, thing.
But look at how they, this year they reminded us, hey, get your new consoles updated, get them online before you hand them over to, and wrap them up. So that way they're ready to rock and roll out of the box because everybody's going to be logging in. Whoever doesn't do it, and there are people that aren't as tech savvy. We won't call them grandmothers and grandparents that don't know anything about gaming. They're just not as tech savvy. Because we already know that's not a
No, I
fact
understand.
anymore. But you think of how many people would be logging in, trying to create accounts between PlayStation and Xbox, having their servers crash just for people trying to log in. And that's just the basics, and that's not even getting into the game.
But there's so many variables too. It's not just on the Xbox side, right? We know they're using the new Series X for Blade servers, right?
Right.
And of course they have to manage it on their end. But everybody, depending on what you have for your internet, your speeds and all this, there's so many other issues that you may be blaming.
Well, and
343, but it could be on your end.
There's also crossplay with PC. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Look at that. We can tell when you're
PC,
playing like against
mobile,
a PC team. It's not skill. It's not looking at skill because sure, with a mouse and keyboard you can aim faster. It's just the whole netcode is different too. Their ability to their movements are faster too.
Yeah. I mean,
there are a whole bunch of things. So, it's.
And I get
good too.
Nick's frustration, but tell me any big multiplayer game that's come out over years since going back to 360, and we all used to jump in there that it didn't have issues. But nowadays things are more complicated, like Peter was saying. I mean, now you got multiple devices, crossplay.
But you're going from 6 gigs to 200.
Yeah.
There's a lot of code between all that variable.
But in the end, it's still Xbox and 343's responsibility to do the best job they can to limit a lot of these issues, right? So, that night, 12 of us. So, they are dedicated to managing this. Halo Infinite is a long-term, it's going to be like Destiny. I think 10 years or so. So all we could do is give our feedback. And like someone said, if you're not happy, don't play it, don't buy it, whatever. Come back when the issues are addressed. It is what it is.
The problem is you don't buy this one. It's free to play. You can't.
And it's free to play.
You can't.
Exactly.
The only way you can vote is with your.
Well, don't buy Game Pass. You can still buy the game. I know it's free to play, but you can go online and let give them your feedback.
Which I did.
There is a feedback forum, right? Still there.
You can decide not to play the game.
And exactly, they see engagement numbers down, they will get concerned. And
not buy the cosmetics and the cat ears and all that stuff.
There's ways to voice your opinion.
Yeah. Engagement is the big way for them because this game is free to play. But the only other thing that I'll say is that this is also the big flagship game, right? Yes, Call of Duty is, but Call of Duty comes every year. How long have we been waiting for Halo Infinite? Since
too long.
Right. Yeah, Call of Duty's every year, and every year they have issues.
It doesn't matter
how like unplayable.
The game is in
booting to desktop and the whole 9 yards. Other craziness.
Brother SuPRCooPR. And then Sobsky stopped the chat, man.
I know. Brother Sobsky. I haven't seen Sobsky in a while. I found him on Twitter. And Jan Ong, right brother from our Miko side. Now, what I will say is once we got into a match, they were hella fun.
Yeah, the game is smooth, right? When you are playing.
When you are, right? When you can play.
Well, I mean that night.
I know.
Like Peter said in AssassinLupa, other than the Big 12 team matches, single going in there, just a quick match or whatever, or smaller teams, you're not having that issue as much.
You're not, but now you're in a
So-
whole different issue of playing with 11 other randos. And don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I don't mind sometimes playing with those, but the thing about when you're playing quick play, playing with randos is not that bad, because if it's Team Slayer, you know what the objective is. You don't have to talk to everybody else. Big team battle relies on at least the majority of the fire team working together to do things. And that was what turned me off from big team battle in Halo 5, was we'd get into fire teams where there'd be 3 or 4 of us, and the other 8 or 9 people playing on our team, they were just there to shoot everybody else. No one went for the objective. So we ended up, just losing all the time, because you just had there was no fun behind it. When we were able to get into those matches on Thursday, like Stronghold, where we just dominated, I mean, that was some of the best fun I had. And it's easy now, so much easier now than it was with Halo 5 to get 12 people together to play. I mean, I know 12 people that I could probably pull together on a Saturday night with ease. But who wants to sit through that? So, they just that needs to get fixed. But once you get into the game, it's incredible fun.
Yeah.
Once you're in, and once you're
But
actually
that same
doing it.
night, when me, Dreadpool, Peter, Jago, and then Back was with us too, right, Dreadpool?
Yeah.
And there's 4 of us. We didn't have no problem.
We didn't have any issues.
No.
I mean,
It was just-
and the different modes we played, we were rocking it.
Yeah. So yes, they do need to work on the 12 team, but I don't. Like Nick. I'm sorry. Yes, Xbox and all them, they want to make their money. They got their money, but to say that they don't care because they got the money, I don't agree with that. Because this is their biggest franchise. They know they have to continue and making improvements. They hear everybody, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy for them to solve it and then it's smooth every time. It's just so many variables that go on day to day, multiple devices, and people, depending on what they have at home.
Yeah.
Some people are on PCs. Some people don't have a great PC. I mean, they're megabytes per second.
I think the biggest thing is that there's no optional, that crossplay is not optional.
I do agree with that, but I don't.
Especially
play
when you do
another-
the SWAT, what are they called? The something Slayer. No, one shot is one headshot is a kill. No map, no radar and stuff. They have quite a disadvantage if you're not on PC.
I don't know, man. That's where we rocked them. I mean, like I said, Noof and I were playing. We had a few other people with us bouncing in and out, and we did quite well. And
I'm not saying that you cannot do well. It's very it depends. I mean, I've beaten plenty of PC people and whatever team I play, either solo or in a fire squad.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of shenanigans going on once
there is.
Oh, we could tell because we were, Noof even went back and looked, and certain people were, you could see that they were on PC, but even then, there's one match that it was questionable on whether they were cheating or not. Other than that, you're like, okay, they were on PC. I could see that but I mean, we were going, we were holding up our own.
Mm-hmm.
It just, it all depends on, like Fastback said, there's a lot of variables.
Oh yeah.
So PC, mouse, that's one variable right there. Where you
Cheats,
are,
enhancements, and other stuff
yeah,
that they
exactly.
enable. I mean, that's
but there was a couple. Like I said, there was times that the guy was already focused on us, and he had a very low hit ratio. Noof was like at 20%, or I'm sorry, 40% hit ratio, and this guy was like 20 something. right? 23%. I was at like 25. But this guy, every time we turn around the corner, he was already waiting for us before we got to the corner. So that's the one we had to question. Other than that, even playing with some PC guys, we were smoking them. You know, it's just, you know, it depends on who you're playing, and we don't know. I mean, some of these guys might be pro players that are just
And also,
playing.
like if you play like ranked, if you play like solo with 2, you can determine the mode. But if you have more than 2, you cannot, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things that's
so
gonna be
it's
left
like
up
that's
for
why
debate.
that's why I say optional. I'm not against crossplay. Don't
no.
get me wrong about that.
Now,
Funny,
but
it's
they
funny
have,
you
It
mentioned
will
that.
be. It's just it hasn't been active.
Hang
but
on,
they
it's
have
funny.
not
Yeah.
said anything about.
Okay, now.
Oh, but
Yep.
before
Yeah,
we
I
forget,
hear
there
you,
was a super chat by Boogeyman. Happy New Year, my gaming brothers and sisters. Hope everyone is well. Well, my family and I are ringing the new year with COVID. Yay. Well, we wish
Oh,
you
man.
and your family
yeah,
a
wish
speedy
you
recovery.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely speedy recovery.
My
Thoughts are with you
7-year-old,
guys.
my 7-year-old had the 24-hour COVID, I think. So
See, here's the problem I have with this whole situation. I
Nick!
agree that you guys should be able to like not have to play with PC players if you don't want to. But I mean, most PC players are just playing the game like you're playing the game. They happen to have an interface that can potentially allow them to move quicker than you can with a gamepad, right? That's just a given because the gamepad's only going to give you so much speed, and you can set up the speed of a mouse to respond. Like I can set my mouse to where if I breathe on it, it would zip across both my screens. That's unplayable for me, and I choose not to do that, but it's possible, right? So you have to adapt to that. I guess those are some of the tweaks that you guys are talking about. My bigger
But also,
issue-
like,
ahead.
how come a PC player can throw that flag like 20 feet away? And on
I have
console,
like
you
no, I
cannot.
have no idea, dude. I mean,
You
I
jump
played
and
that
throw.
exactly
Well,
as many
even
times
that.
as I played with you
but-
guys, and I fared pretty well overall. I mean, some of you guys were clearly better than me because you have more time in the game, right? And that's what it comes down to, right? Is one your comfort level with the interface of your choice and the game time, right? Is what it really should boil down to. Now you're going to have, I feel like you're going to have a harder level cap with a gamepad than you're going to have with, like, say, a mouse and keyboard.
One quick thing about eating paste is like
Yeah, I
the
saw
aim
that.
assist.
yeah.
This
I was gonna
PC
say,
player are like thinking it's a magic thing. It's like
It's
every
not
bullet
like
fire.
that.
It's
But
not
I've seen
that
that
bad,
complaint,
dude.
though.
I mean,
When you're
aim
moving,
assist.
yeah.
It
When you're
seems like
moving around-
in the campaign, it's much stronger than in multiplayer.
oh
Yeah,
god, that's,
if there
that's
isn't
not
multiplayer
working
at
for
all,
me.
'cause I
It's
don't
not working
notice
for me
what, so.
in campaign. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't tried it with a gamepad. I played this on PC, for the most part, from start to finish, and honestly, being able to play Halo on my PC is, to me, a wonderful experience because I've spent all this time playing it on console. And while it's always been very playable and very accessible on console, it just feels natural on PC. And I think that has to do with my comfort level of FPSs and using a mouse and keyboard, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make me like, Uber Slayer God or anything like that. I got wrecked plenty, obviously, just due to my inexperience of playing players online and my reaction time not being as good as some of your guys' reaction time. You guys know how to predict shots.
Nick, you the other night in the big team battle, you were playing on PC control with the mouse and keyboard. See, I wouldn't have known that, and of course, I could have. Now that I know, maybe there's a couple times when you got me before I can get you. So now I know. But but I don't play. I've seen a couple friends who talk about this a lot, and they want the optional to opt out with the crossplay. But I haven't seen enough complaint out there to where a response back from Xbox or 343 on this because I guess from their end, like Control Pace was saying, there is that control aim assist somewhat on the controller side to help kind of even out things, even though mouse and keyboard will always have an edge, but it does help kind of even out things, make it a little bit better for people who are on console or whatever and controller. But they must see the numbers on their end to where they don't feel like there's a issue. Yeah, you're gonna have people who cheat, who maybe have mods or whatever, and I'm sure they're trying to address that ban them, whatever.
You can see that in the
Yeah,
in the theater.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, you go down
So,
there and you replay your matches,
and-
and you can see like, hey, he's tracking me through walls. You know,
yeah.
and
And
that actually happens quite a bit.
Well, I mean,
shots,
I mean,
know?
for my part, when I've watched you guys play versus seeing myself play,
Yeah.
the only thing that I've majorly noticed is a lot of you guys will shoot for the body, whereas I'll aim more for the head.
I've
Yeah.
started aiming for
And
the
that
head.
has to do, I think, with the ease of me being able to do it on a mouse versus you having to do it on a controller. And so that makes it easier to take out the armor because the armor in that particular spot is intended to be weaker than it is the rest of the Spartan's armor. You do more damage there, right?
Yeah.
So that explains some of the issues that you guys are having when you're dealing with some of the PC players is they're going to aim at more vulnerable spots and target those, whereas you're hitting heavy on that central part, which will break the shields, but it's going to take you longer before you can do that. And then when you do pop them, it's still going to take you more shots. It'll take me one burst once your shield's down to kill you, whereas it might take you more to the chest. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And see, and here's the other thing that people keep forgetting. Just because you're on PC does not mean you're on keyboard and mouse. I was also
Absolutely.
playing.
That is true. Yeah.
I was also playing with controller. I've yet to play Halo with keyboard and mouse. Okay, so every time I've played Halo on PC or the Series X, it's been with a controller. And whether or not you say that the aim assist is there and it's going to help you, no, it doesn't. It doesn't help you that much to even notice. I don't even notice it. I feel like I play the same whether on PC or on the Series X. You know,
With a controller, I would absolutely.
with a controller.
With a controller, I would absolutely. I choose not to use a controller because I have an option for a more comfortable setup for me.
You're more comfortable for your setup with a keyboard and mouse. I am
Absolutely.
not.
Yeah.
I can't.
You know,
I
it's-
have a hard time playing WoW with it because I'm not a left-handed person. I am strictly a right-handed person with everything I do. Literally everything is right-handed for me. You know, if you know, so when I have to type in the WASD, I have to look and see what I'm doing because I don't know the placement naturally like everybody else does. You know, I can move it, you know, the mouse around and everything, but it's easier for me to control it with the controller than it is for that. But that's where I'm comfortable with, you know, and me being comfortable with the controller, not really noticing that much of a difference between PC or the console. It to me it is like it's kind of one of those excuses that people throw out there. Well, you know, you've got aim assist, da 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 da. Well, yeah, aim assist only helps so much. It does not really help. You know what helps is playing SWAT, right? So when
Yeah.
you're playing Tactical Slayer, yeah, you're practicing for headshots, right? And just like you said, Geeks, you see everybody hitting the chest. I'm usually hitting the upper side of the chest because I'm trying to hit the helmet, you know, and everybody always knows you aim for center mass. And if you're going for the chest, you're guaranteed to hit something, but that doesn't work when you're trying to reduce shields and take somebody out.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't real life. This is a video game. So yeah, headshots, when it comes to PC players, they are more prone to aim for those headshots because it's easier for them and it's because it's instilled in them. You know, that's a little different.
Or you'll aim for upper chest and center, and as that person drops, it'll climb up to the head, or the gun will
Right.
naturally climb.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do that. I see people even do that with controller in a lot of
Yeah.
games. The game has pull where it pulls up. You'll start aiming somewhere around center because it's easier to target, and then you'll just let the gun do the work, right, as it pulls up. And so it's quicker for you to aim that way. You don't have to like fiddle with the aim or anything trying to get on the head. You can let the gun do some of the work.
Has anybody played laser tag?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
Not in
So-
forever, but
Okay. So do you understand when they call it painting on target?
vaguely, kind of. Yeah, I mean, you're
All right, you do
Basically.
that you do that in Halo with SWAT, and you're guaranteed that headshot.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, when that battle rifle shoots out, it shoots out what was it 3 or 4 bullets?
yeah, it's like a 3-round burst.
Right. So when it does that, you're either going to hit, all 3 are hitting the same spot. So you're either going to hit or you're going to be completely missing. So you paint the target, you're going to have to, one of those 3 are going to hit, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's actually kind of why I like the starting rifle in a lot of cases. Because even if you're on controller, if you're doing like quick bursts and that gun tends to pull up a little bit, you're still, if you're doing quick burst, you're keeping a bit of control, but you're still going to climb, and eventually you're going to hit something very vulnerable, right? And you're going to be whittling down the shields the whole time you're doing it. So honestly, when I was playing that night, there were 2 guns that I felt really comfortable with, and I never wanted to move away from. Even the Covenant rifle wasn't very good in multiplayer, and it's one of my go-tos in campaign. And that was the battle rifle and the starting rifle. I didn't even use the sidearm very much, unless I was going to like pistol whip somebody. A lot of the guns just didn't really feel as competitive there because the travel rate of the projectile wasn't as good. Like a lot of the Covenant weapons felt kind of slow, and they're great for tearing down shields, but you had to get much closer in multiplayer than I was comfortable being before I could actually hit. And most of the shots were going wide because people were moving so quick. I found it easier just to tear into them with the human weapons that had a fast projectile speed. To be able to whittle down the shields, which is completely alien to the way I played the campaign, because I always kept a Covenant rifle and I always kept like a battle rifle if I could, right? One to tear down the shields, and then the other one to finish the job. Or in the brutes, I just go straight to the battle rifle, knock off the helmet, hit the head, done. End of story, right? So it's a completely different approach to it when you start hitting the multiplayer, and some of the weapons work and some of them don't. Like the splash damage on the rocket launcher is stupid in multiplayer. I don't think it's that big in single player, but I was hitting some of you guys at like a width of a warthog, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, why is it that wide?
I basically gave up using the rocket launcher in the campaign because it was just not happening.
Right.
I try to aim for their feet.
So
I don't like the rocket launcher because I will shoot you at twice the distance and I will die. Or you shoot me at half the distance and you will walk away from it.
Well, what I finally started learning to do is the same thing I learned in Unreal Tournament when I used to play that against friends, is I would just shoot generally in front of you a little bit. Particularly if you were jumping, and generally that hit me hitting more often than not. And there was a couple times, like in one of those close maps, I wish I'd been recording, because I had like one just snapshot where I just turned with the rocket launcher, fired, and kept running the other way as I turned. I didn't even look at the shot. Like, I just did it as a snap reaction because I knew somebody was shooting downward and got a kill. And I'm like, that was a great gamer moment that I have like no idea how I pulled off. It just happened while I was just running.
You know, as that guy was falling, he's like, "Yeah, guy's a cheater."
Well, you guys could have said that, but it was just you guys. It was all of us just trying to kill each other. And I've installed no mods. I've done nothing other than set up my mouse to like 1800 as far as its DPI rate goes. My mouse, I don't have anything mapped on. The only thing I have mapped is I think I've got my grenade mapped onto like one of my mouse buttons on my keyboard. So it's a little bit more responsive than where they put it, because it's kind of out of the way on my keyboard. So I mapped it to one of the buttons on my mouse, right? So it's more convenient to throw it. That doesn't make me any more accurate at throwing it. It just makes it more accessible, right?
What's your field of view that you set up at?
I think it was like 78 when I played with you guys. I finally bumped it up to like 90 at the very tail end of the campaign. But it defaults to 78, which is really narrow.
I pushed it to 117.
Yeah, I need
the only reason why I did 117 is because people said that they would push it at 117 and they'd back out and go back in, and it would shift them to like 116. They set it up so you can't do 117. I've done it and it stayed there this whole time. But yeah, definitely, that's another thing that, I mean, as a PC player, I expected you to have done it, you know.
I rarely play games. I barely play multiplayer on any of these games, right? So most people are going to trash me on these games, whether or not you've got a controller or whether you've got a mouse and keyboard if you're an experienced player. I just don't have the time into these games, right? I don't play online a lot of times, and I don't enjoy playing online competitively most of the time unless I'm playing with you guys or other friends, right? I just find communities unpleasant, exceedingly unpleasant, and I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Us, all of us, when we're on, you know.
Yeah, that's
Other
why
than that, I don't go play by myself.
I typically don't either. Peter's the one who seems to be the wild man.
Yeah, I mean, I play Halo Infinite. I play multiplayer just by myself. Can be quite successful. So
I did do it a couple times in the beginning on the beta, and I had, didn't have a problem.
At my level, I wouldn't worry about the success. It's the toxicity of the player base. Is
No,
my
I
concern.
agree.
Yeah, I haven't
But I don't-
really
I'm-
experienced
I
that.
wouldn't
But also,
even
like, I'm
interact
not
with those
really
people.
engaged in
Yeah.
my
it's
prep.
yeah. What's funny is, a lot of them don't even talk anymore.
Yeah.
So
No.
you know,
I'd be,
playing big
I
team
would be okay
battle.
playing it if that's the case. If they just want to come in and shoot stuff, that's fine. I'll practice aiming and shooting, and then when I play with you guys, we'll actually play the game for real. Because from what I saw of most of the teams that we played, like I was holding a point with like me for a good almost minute and a half before Lupa came in to help, and had like 5 people come after me and all get gunned down, and I'm like, how? I'm like, I'm not that good at this. I don't know how I'm killing all you guys and surviving, but you guys are really, really bad at this. Like you're shooting at my feet for some reason. What the hell's wrong with you?
Mhm.
Like, I just don't understand it. It's like they
Well,
aren't
you might
even
have kids playing.
attempting to
These darn
shoot.
controller
Just-
peasants.
Nick, you got to remember, just like there's always going to be someone better than you, there's always going to be someone worse than you.
Mhm.
You know,
I'm used to
that's-
running-
and that's
I'm
what I
used to
like
being
about
that
this.
guy on the bottom,
Yeah.
though. And
But that's
Yeah, that's
it
how
doesn't
I
have
was.
to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. You know,
See,
Well,
I
if you
don't
practice,
mind
it's
finishing
not, but I
last and
don't.
getting killed, as long as those are legitimate kills.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
so many times when I run around with that hammer and I hit somebody on their toes and they die. Then, I go around the corner, there's a guy like 20 feet away, and I jump in the air, and that guy stands just on the ground, and he hits his hammer, and I die. It's like, okay, how? What's the secret there?
no, and I agree with you, Peter, on that one, because that's the same thing I was talking about with rockets.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm half the distance, and you walk away. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, when it comes to rockets, it's the opposite. But when it comes to a hammer, I'm closer. You walk away. I'm farther. I die, and it's like, how does this happen? How's this?
I think some of it has to do with the various different connection speeds in the netcode, right?
That's what
Yeah.
a lot of people are saying.
Sometimes there's like it almost feels like half a second delay.
Yeah,
I can be around the corner,
Some
and
of
then
it could
or
be somebody
already,
doing
like-
something shady, but I think a lot of it's netcode.
Well,
Could
there's a
be.
couple of other things too that people don't realize. Some of it too is the refresh rate of their monitors. You get these beefy setups
Yeah.
that are 240 FPS. That's smoother, faster than 60. And don't forget, some of these keyboards out there can do macros. And that's
Mhm.
part of the issue. I think other people are saying that we focus on the mouse and the keyboard, but some of these people could do these skill jumps with
Well,
one hit. With
And also
one
like
key.
this bunny rabbits, a lot of PC players, they just like
Mhm.
bunnies, like jumping up and down. And it's easy when you have mouse and keyboard because you can jump up and down, or even have a macro that just does that for you infinitely.
I just
And
hit
with
this
a mouse,
piece-
you're more precise in like hitting wherever you go and turning around. And on control, that's much harder. But besides that,
I don't know. Maybe I just adjusted to that because I'm used to games like Unreal Tournament was the worst about that, right?
Mm.
People would bunny hop there and then jump and triple jump on hit walls and jump off of that and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And I'm terrible tracking people in UT now. Like if you want bad bunny hopping and the inability to be able to track somebody, go under a tournament and try to break into that ground. Particularly some of those, because some of the stuff that they can do in that as far as mobility is crazy. But that kind of bunny hopping is, as far as online, I've seen that a lot. I've seen that in Overwatch. I've seen that in this. It's just a common thing. So you just kind of like, and admittedly, it's easier to track on a mouse. I will absolutely say that, because having tracked things like falling and jumping, even in campaign or anything else on like a controller before, it's just harder to track unless you bump your sensitivity on your look all the way up, which can cause you problems in other areas when you're trying to aim, particularly if you're trying to scope, right? Because it doesn't change that sensitivity when you go into scope unless you have a way of dropping it when you're in scope, which most controllers don't allow for. But
and when-
even a
when
lot of
you're
controllers now, like the Elite controller, you can program these things and then take them and plug them into a Series S or a Series X or an Xbox One, and they'll continue to have that functionality because it's programmed on the controller. So you guys can't tell me you don't have macros on controllers. I know you do.
Yeah, but you
'Cause I
have
can-
to
I can
spend
make
that
them.
much money. Number one, you have to spend that much money on it. Number two, you still don't have the precise control. So the antithesis to the bunny hop is, that's fine, they do it, and then you can't hit them, but you're jumping, and somehow they can hit you while you're jumping.
Yep.
Those are the things that are the great equalizers.
Yeah, I mean that's the difference between having a more sensitive aim of a mouse and having a controller. It's going to be easier to track that motion on a mouse.
Now,
I mean, I can't. It's just what it is, unfortunately.
Here's what I would like to see, because the downside to simply splitting out crossplay is you don't get a chance to play with people who are playing on PC. So there's times when, when I was playing with you, Nick, and John, and BMG, and Kamikaze, and me and Kamikaze were on Xboxes, but you, John, and I don't remember what. Actually, I think BMG might have been on an Xbox One X. But I'm okay. It's weird. I think that they should make it to where if your fire team is all controller, you should not be matched up with a fire team of controller and mouse or all mouse. Like, I think you should be able to pick something to slow it down. I always find if people have mouse and keyboard on your team, great, you're the equalizer. You go get them.
Yeah.
What about true skill? I always bring that up, and they killed it too many times. The biggest complaint is, and it's not to put PC players under the bus, but the thing is, like, they all, maybe it's not always PC players. It's any player, actually. It's always like they make it seem like every game will be like the Olympics, because it's hard. They like to shoot fish in a barrel. While people who are not as good, for them, it's every game they play is the Olympics. It's hard.
I don't know, dude. I got wrecked plenty the other night, and most of the time, there were a couple times I'm like, how in the hell did that happen? But most of the time, I'm like, oh no, that was a good kill. And
Feel that is a good kill, then I have no problem getting killed.
Oh, I've called it out many times, like, oh man, that was good. Yeah. And you pulled something off there. It was good, and that's I think part of the community does not communicate a good kill. Be like, oh, you got me good. That I wasn't expecting that. I thought I was going to make it out of there. I didn't see you. So you got me on my blind side. That was a good kill. Stuff like that. We always like to look at the that shouldn't have happened. Where you were already tracking me. How did you track me from through the wall? How, you know what I mean? So there's always, we always go with that, but we don't always remember to point out the good things when we play as players with our teams or friends, and getting it handed to us, to call that out, say, hey, you did good here. You one up me for sure. We don't always do that. And I think that's, we always like to dig on the negative side of that part of gaming. And it turns into just dare I say, a bitch fest.
Yeah, there was one time where I randomly caught Lupa. I think it was the second time I got her in the first Slayer match we got. I saw somebody climbing the wall, and I just turned and instinctively started shooting, and then panicked as they got too close and hit melee and barely got the kill over her on that one. And that was just like a complete snap reaction that I did. And I'm like, oh my God, I survived that one. She's like, damn it. I'm like, I'm sorry. Because I didn't even have time to look at the nameplate, and it all went down so quick, right? And I mean, those are just kind of lucky happenstances, and that happens in every match. I mean, there have been times where, like, I've spawned in multiplayer and immediately got killed because the spawn point was right between two players trying to kill each other. My head just happened to be in the way.
Yeah, or you kill a whole team, and then all of a sudden, like, like 3 out of 4 you kill, and then they already respawning, and they respawn right next to the other guy. It's like, now all of a sudden you have to fight two again, and you get killed because Yeah.
And there were a couple times that night where we were in there and 2 or 3 guys were coordinating really well on pinning me down and taking me down. I mean, that's when I was crying to you guys. I'm like, guys, I can't hold this point on my own with 2 or 3 people coming in on me. Mouse and keyboard doesn't matter if you've got 2 people on any device that coordinate well on an assault on a single player. You're just going to die, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you come in and you're coordinated and you're going to take points. It doesn't matter if one person has a mouse and keyboard unless he has backup that knows what they're doing too. So, I mean, player cooperation comes into a point on this. Now, if you're doing just straight up slayer and everybody's killing everybody, then, that's just, whatever, right? I mean, best player is hopefully going to win that, or the luckiest player is going to win that and end up in the right spot to be able to kill as many people as they get, right? So,
here's another thing why like free-to-play games is like, how do you get keep the bad apples from playing the game? You can ban them. How far do they ban them? They create a new account and download the game again.
Ban the hardware.
Well, you can kind of do something like what they used to do with GTA, because in GTA, a lot of times, what they would do is if you cheated so many times, they would just put you on a server with other cheaters. So you could still cheat all you wanted to, but you were in a group of people that were all kind of doing the same thing.
Right. I mean,
right? So it sort of equalized the playing field.
Yeah. And that's, but it's the cheat. I mean, the cheating's a whole other issue. That's, and I know I've seen a lot of consternation about the cheating, the aimbots and things like that. Like there have been times when
wall hacks,
the wall hacks.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, there's the ability to change the color that's highlighted. I've seen mods on various different games, including UT, where there's no colors to the actual players. It's just a single color texture, so that they're really bright and they're easy to see, so that there's no blending and stuff like that. There's all sorts of different mods and things like that you can put in that people play with, and some of them play with it at a professional level. I feel like since esports has become like a bigger thing, that they've clamped down on those. That's why everybody usually has the same hardware when they go into those. Like they'll just put them on a PC. Maybe you get to bring in your own like mouse or something like that brand that you're comfortable with and get to play with that. But they make sure that you don't have any kind of macros or mods or anything like that on it when you play with it, right?
But you can do that right now in the game of Halo. You can change your colors to make out and make it more more yellow if you wanted, or purple or something like that, more visible than red to stand out.
Yeah, Lupa was talking about that the other night, that you changed everything to yellow because it was a lot more visible.
Yeah, so I mean,
hold on, something's going on.
That's not considered a cheat.
Uh-oh.
Hi.
Oh, he's turning into a ghost. He's vanishing.
He's transporting onto the Starship Enterprise. I've been
teleported.
Well, some of the
Oh, is that the ramen?
This would be the ramen, yes.
Oh,
I just heard Kipper rustling behind my green screen. I'm like, what's going on?
But some of those features are
It's just making noise to make noise.
Assist for people who might be colorblind or certain things, right? I mean, it's
Yeah, but I mean, the point is if you think to go in there and use them, they're useful in other ways for other players too. So while they're originally intended for more accessibility modes or the colorblind, right, and stuff like that, they can be utilized in other ways. And you have to take that into your game design when you add things like that in there, right, that people can use them in that way. Because they don't have any way of knowing if you're colorblind or need accessibility options or whatever, right? You're just able to turn them on as you feel the need for them. That's what they're there for.
Well, I mean, they're open. Everybody can do it themselves too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's.
So it's a hack that's not really a cheat. It's part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a built-in, baked-in part of the game, and the game balance should reflect that. But I mean, as far as the servers and not being able to get in, that was the big point that was kind of setting me off. In the day and age that you can set up servers and you can have things like Amazon Web Services, you can set things up and have compute and have graphical power in order to process things. I find it insulting to say that they can't set up servers properly for load. Amazon Web Services, as I've learned it, has a feature.
We're not talking like 100 servers. It's going to be.
No, I'm talking about virtualizing the servers and having you spin up.
But you still need to manage the queues that are going across, and
That's what those
and other
things are
stuff.
supposed. That's what
Yeah, but
that's supposed to
doesn't-
balance for, man.
It's
That's
But
what it's
doesn't
built
Microsoft?
for.
But doesn't Microsoft own the servers that they use to do that? That's the
Yeah.
other thing. It's they're using their own. They're using their own infrastructure to do that.
Yeah, but you're telling me you're putting in like a bunch of Xbox One X's in there to run that thing? Come on, man.
Oh, it's
No,
serious.
like,
they're probably not
Series
running
X.
on that. I don't think
No,
they'd
no,
be
they're not
running
running
on the.
Series
I was about
on
to
the
say, don't
Series
tell
X
me you're
blades.
going to use like Series X's to run this stuff. That's just
Yeah, that's
freaking sell those to people and put in real hardware. I'm sorry.
No,
Not that the
those are-
Series X hardware is bad.
That's
It's
what they're-
actually very good hardware.
I don't
But
think those blades
they
are
do
being
better
used
job.
for
They're
hosting
not.
the servers. They're
They're
being
not.
Those are
being
being
used
used
for
for
if you want to do cloud
xCloud.
gaming and stuff.
Cloud
Yeah,
gaming,
that's
yeah.
the
Yes.
xCloud
yeah,
stuff.
that makes more sense. If you're going to do cloud gaming, particularly from like a phone or something like that, that gives you the Series X experience
Yeah.
on your
Yes.
phone, and that makes total sense to me to use that because then you're running it off of there.
I was gonna
That's why
say
you-
that's kind of silly to run Series X for a
Mhm.
PC game.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't even really call it a PC
I mean,
game.
people,
I'd call it a
somebody would do
multiplayer
it.
game.
Somebody would do it. But
I mean, basically, the server shouldn't be rendering the graphics. The server should be telling each player the location of things on the map, and then you should be rendering it on your hardware, right?
right.
So it's all compute power. That's
Mhm.
my big problem with it. Is it's not so much they don't have to load the textures. You're loading the textures, right? It doesn't have to do a huge amount of graphical uplift because you're doing that uplift on your side, right? It needs to be able to transmit the data so that your screen can interpret it and have the player's positioning in the right place because you've already loaded all the assets from your system. That's the point, right?
Correct.
So you should be able to spin these things up. They should be virtualized servers. So as you end up with more and more people coming in, sure you have problems with the queue, but then you start noticing things ramping up and it goes, okay, I'm going to spin up this one, then I'm going to spin up this one, then I'm going to spin up this one. Within a few minutes of that load spike, it should have things balanced out. And as people taper off, it can shut those down. That way it can reclaim resources.
Yeah, but it's
So
just the
we have
queue
those
management.
groups.
That's what I was having issues with.
Yeah. Well, part
And
of
fire
it wasn't
teams
even
of all
queue management.
sizes and other stuff to manage that across, etc. We didn't have issues with servers that were not able to run our games.
In
That's
part,
true.
but I mean, in part, we
That's-
kept getting disconnected from the server. I mean, we
right.
were
That's what
previously getting
Peter's saying. That's what
disconnected.
Peter's saying. It's the queues. So, but how do you manage? Where does that get managed? I mean, I know I know what Windows Server load balancers are. I don't know how they build load balancing for this stuff.
I'd assume the concept is the same. It's just the
Well, look at
application. might be
Master
slightly
Chief
different.
collection.
Oh God.
Remember?
It's- Oh
That was
God.
also a queue. I
Yeah.
mean,
that was
a
hard. That
queue
was a,
issue where you ended
was
up
a
with having
wreck.
5 in a 4-player fire team matches and stuff.
See, my problem with Anypay's comment of like, well, they get server spikes that are way too huge and they only happen 1 or 2 times a year. There are plenty of services that are that way, and they don't have that excuse. So why are we giving that to these people? This is especially in games where your only mode is online. This should work. This is the game you paid for.
Or didn't because it's free to play.
Well, in this case, yes, but there's plenty of these that are being charged $60. I mean,
Oh
people
yeah,
are paying
we were talking
$60 for
about Call of
Battlefield.
Duty earlier.
The new Battlefield, and that's only online. And you're going to have problems like this there. Call of Duty has these problems all the freaking time, and people paid $60 for that title too.
God,
And don't tell
Battlefield.
me that this is completely free because there's all sorts of cosmetics and shit being sold in there. They're making
but the
bukus of
game-
cash off this.
They're
Don't-
making bukus
don't
of
kid
cash
yourself.
off. No, they're but making
No,
cash
no, that.
cash
Yeah, but
off.
that's not the cost of entry.
Yeah, that's not the making cash off of the cosmetics and buying the game for $60 is two way different things.
I understand that, but they're also making tons of money off of Game Pass with a ton of people like me that will use it infrequently. Like I've used it a lot this past month for Halo, right?
Yeah, but you
But
don't
on
need-
average, I might pay that $15 a month, and I may never play anything on it for months on end.
But
And
you
then I'll
don't need
spike and
Game
I'll play a
Pass.
lot.
you don't need Game Pass for this for the well, you need Game Pass for this. What you're seeing on the screen, you don't need Game Pass for the multiplayer.
I know, but my point is, you got all those people that are paying for Game Pass, like me, that may not use it for months, but keep it in case they want to use it. That's just free money, dude. It's straight
man.
up free money.
Business. It's business. I don't know where what's the big deal?
Here's my thing. If we take one step back from all of this, I mean, why is it that every game has the same issues each time, you know, with their multiplayer queuing, multiplayer this and that, netcode this, netcode that. I mean,
I take the same issue with Blizzard. Every time they have done a Diablo release, every single time, they have queue issues, they have server issues.
right.
Every single time.
I mean, you would think that once they solve that issue, like, hey, this runs well,
They will carry it
you'll
over.
reuse that and
You
don't
would-
have that same issue.
Exactly.
It seems
If
like
you
they have to
were built
reinvent
for
the
the
wheel
player
each
base,
time.
And
I
you
mean,
think
they
you
should
would have
create
an
some
idea
patterns
based
that
off
they
pre-orders. Yeah.
that they
Or
use.
Or you'd have an idea based off your pre-orders in cases that they're pre-ordering. Understand this was free and as many people would download it. But when you start seeing people prep those downloads the day before it launched and you had to look at people that are playing it weeks before the campaign launched, you had to know within a couple of weeks you were going to have this burst.
Can
Like,
I
you
throw something
had
in on
to.
this?
Go right ahead, man. Sorry, I'm
All right.
talking a lot.
No. No, you're the one it's causing me to think and try to think of alternate
You have
situations.
caused
Damn it, Nick,
Dreadpool to
stop it.
think.
I know. I should
No,
make people stop
it's
thinking.
good. It's good. I like the conversation. What if it's the bandwidth? Maybe it's the server side per se, but it's the bandwidth is being overloaded to the server.
So
to
we're
the
blaming Lupa? That's what I heard. We're blaming Lupa.
Yes, we're blaming Lupa. No,
I'm not
but
blaming
you see
Lupa.
what I'm saying?
I don't want to
You know,
ever ask.
I mean, network guys know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
No, I know
So
what you're saying.
So you're saying it's the incoming pipe.
Maybe there's something there with the pipeline, what it is that they can't control.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, I know on these servers there's usually several metrics that they track, right? And it gets different too if you're doing ranked. In ranked, they'll take like skill level, kill death ratio, etc., your level, etc. But on most of these, including Overwatch, they would try to take they would try to have you based on regions, ping, various different latency issues and things like that to try to group you up to people that are going to be compatible speed-wise, so that you would have a similar experience. That's part of the balancing that they try to do when they pull people into a given match for the most part. Now, with us having people from anywhere from, Europe all the way to like California, that was probably a little hard for them to do, quite frankly.
I mean, because for me, I'm in the middle of two data centers, the one in Texas and the one up north on the eastern coast. I don't know what state it's in right now. I wanted to say Georgia, but I don't think it's there because I'm like literally in the middle of the two. But I believe they would transfer me to the eastern, Mideast coastline data center there, and then worst case scenario shift me over to Texas. But those
they'd
would
send
be
you.
the
They'd
two.
send you to the real Middle East. They'd send you to a server in Iraq.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I mean, usually if you do in small queues, and this happened with Overwatch too. If you had fewer people that you were teamed up with, you had a faster time getting into a match, and that made sense because if you've got like 6 people and you're trying to find another group of 6, they have to find 6 individuals or another group of 6 to team you with, right?
Right.
So the more people you have in, not only is it going to take you longer to find a game, it's also harder to ping match you to another group of players. And maybe they're not doing that part of the system right. So when they try to get everybody together, certain people time out and it freaks out and it kicks everybody out. And I'm okay with that if they don't keep throwing the same error message to me like 35 times where I have to close the application. That needs to stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
kind of the thing that we're talking about with 12. There's 12 of us as one.
Yeah.
They're trying to match another group as big as we are, and at the same time, even if they brought in 2 6s, they got to be able to be compatible to play with us and the speeds that we have.
No,
I think they've got
true.
some kinks to work out with the matchmaking as far as online compatibility goes, and it's made harder by the fact that they are doing crossplay with this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's definitely a factor.
Multiple devices. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I did notice.
And then you also
maybe
have against the cloud and other stuff. Who knows where they are?
That's
Right.
true. And I don't know if you guys, well, Peter, I don't know if you guys noticed this. We ended up having to all get out and get back in when someone new joined the fire team.
Yeah.
It seemed like
Happened a
once
couple
everybody
times,
was
yeah.
right.
It's like it wasn't that the online code wasn't adjusting well for the new number of players.
Right.
Like it wasn't rerunning whatever matching algorithm it was trying to run.
It seemed like once we got a match in, then we could get another match and another match. And then as soon as somebody new joined the fire team, it just blew us all to hell. Am I imagining that, or?
No, I mean, there were a couple
I
times
think
where
it
it was an exception, but that was more often
coincidence than anything, though.
Really? It felt pretty regular to me.
I know.
I mean, that day it was just broken. I mean, I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
Maybe they needed to do a reboot of some hardware or.
They didn't listen to me. I tweeted that before we played. I said, "Hey, could you guys reboot your servers so we could play tonight?" Nobody listened.
I'm sure Phil Spencer got right on that.
Yeah. So
Phil said, "Matt, get whoever else you got to get there."
See, Lupa agrees. Lupa says that's what she saw too. It just felt like every time we brought a new person in, we all had problems.
Had more issues each time a new person came in. And I don't think that was because of the number, because if you had somebody drop and somebody new join, it seemed to be the same result, right? And it could have just been like a lot of coincidences at night, but to me, it felt like more substantial than not.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen a service run that bad in big team battle as that one day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we need to try it again one day and just see how it goes.
Have you had a big team like that since then?
Not since.
Or, like,
I mean, we had like a full 12. I mean, that's pretty rare, I would think, unless we can get everybody together, right?
That's why I was asking. Have we had another one since then like that?
No, not since then.
So trying to compare it, we need more data. We got to do this again. Okay. So we got
that means
12 of us.
More like at least 12-man big team battle. Yeah.
We
need to stop at 12 or have enough people that we can do 2 groups of 12. Because if we go over 12, then we've got to do matchmaking between ourselves, which we already know is not a problem.
Right.
Because we were able to do Slayer and all that other stuff, no problem against each other.
Now, I'm down for that. We got 5 here.
Oh yeah, we definitely need to do it again. Yeah.
I know Lupa play with us. Paste wants to play with us. I know
we got enough people. We got a great community.
We got enough people. We could pull
easily.
12 people together.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, we pulled 12 people together on like what, Christmas Eve? I mean, come on, this is It was like it was like right before Christmas Eve. I don't think we're gonna have a problem with it, particularly if you put a feeler out.
I bet I could get a bunch of us together on a Saturday night. Not this Saturday night because I'm going to be at the beach. But
Lupa said she's had 24 in a party with no problems at all.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, you can xCloud it in.
But I mean, when you're doing like a custom game, you're not trying to matchmake with random people online. You have 2 established teams, so that's a little bit different too. I feel like
I may be finishing the campaign if the internet at the hotel is good. So
I might actually finally start it.
Dude, I really enjoyed the campaign on this one. I mean, the story wasn't super revolutionary. There were a couple of repetitive missions, but but honestly, I mean, for an open world game, I'm normally not a big fan of open world games. I don't find the fun in them for the most part, and I really enjoyed this one. All the side missions and everything felt like they had a purpose. They give you a backstory and whatever target you're going for. You know, you kind of felt like you really wanted to help all the little Marines and stuff that were running around that were under fire. All the stuff that they put in there kind of made sense, with the exception of like maybe the collectibles that gave you cosmetics, and I just did that for fun.
Yeah.
I think they did a great job. I know like some people like Myke and so on that not big on open world, and they could get a little overwhelming on some games, but this one they did a good job kind of breaking it up to where this section you got to take care of this, and then you work your way to the other areas. So to me, I love that it was open and I can kind of explore and take my time, and I kind of did a manage between main mission to sides, and it was just a beautiful game. Just here watching Mike's clips, I mean, so many areas in this game are just wow.
Yeah, the only thing that drove me crazy on this game is I would get distracted doing side stuff, and I'd have like the weapon, which is the dumbest name. They should have given her a name from the beginning. Going, so, hey, I'd really like to go here. I'm really curious. It became my own little, hey, listen. Like, can I mute you for a little bit? I'm busy.
Right. I will say this. I wanted to resist it. And I'll be honest with you. The fact that the multiplayer was that broken probably pushed me to start playing this just because I was like, all right, fine. If I can't play the multiplayer, let me give this a shot. And now I'm in this spot that I knew was going to happen to where I go through everything until I can't anymore. And then I go to the main missions. So I have collected.
Well, I mean, that's what open world's like, dude. I did the same thing.
That's
how I had almost 24 hours in it before I played with you guys.
Yeah, I've collected all the Spartan cores, all the armories. I've gotten all the forward operating bases. I got all 7 outposts, and I've defeated all the wanted people. And yeah, so
dude, all those wanted people were a pain in the butt. Like the dude with the rocket launcher drove me crazy. Like I had to completely fly around and land on the side and come down at him because anytime I tried to take him out with a wasp, it was like a one-shot kill when I couldn't even see him. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah,
and that was only on normal. That wasn't even on heroic or legendary. I mean, that was on the easiest mode that I'll tolerate playing the game.
Yeah, I'm playing. I'm doing it on heroic because I can't play a Halo game on normal.
I usually do like normal and then I do heroic. I usually skip legendary just because I find it more frustrating than fun overall for me personally. But I haven't tried to go back through it on heroic yet.
So the other thing too is Crystal, appreciate it.
Calm down, sir. Calm down.
Much of this game was built for co-op.
No, I agree.
Oh, dude, co-op in this open world, I think would be amazing. Co-op?
Yeah.
In every Halo game, really, even the first one, which really didn't have like a local co-op, I felt like it was built for co-op. I mean, you can't. The first time you jump into a Warthog and there's a gun on the back of it, the first thing that comes to mind is co-op. Yeah. Not, hey, I'm going to have an AI jerkwad who can't hit anything sit in the back of this thing with me. No, you want a buddy in there with you.
I'll tell you what, the AI jerkwads in this game work. Dude, they're crack shots, let me tell you. I've gone into an outpost with a Warthog and just ran around and let the computer AI just gun everybody down.
That's what I do with the or do the Razorback. And you got what, 4 people in the back plus 1 in the passenger?
Yeah, Relic was doing the same thing. He would give them all like Spartan. He would give them all Guardian lasers or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he'd get them all like a Razorback and just run in someplace.
Yeah. But I agree, it is built for co-op, no doubt. And I've had more fun just going to get the Marines. And of course, you go back to your fobs, right? And then, request a vehicle, and then, all right, let's load up, get everybody in, and then, all right, let's go do hit a site. I've had a lot of fun with that, so I can't wait till we can do that together, 4 of us. I wish we could do more of us than 4, but, like in a Razorback.
Let me ask everybody this question, since most everybody's fun to play the campaign. Did anybody else have a problem with forward operating base when you request a vehicle? If your guy's just standing there right where it lands?
Oh, yeah.
I've had it happen too.
I recorded
out of the way. I'm like, get out of the way.
I have noticed in the beginning it was worse, but I think since it seemed like they got a little bit smarter and they're just like
it
jump
happens every time for me. Every freaking time.
People with a wasp drop, it's ridiculous.
There's always one person that gets killed at every 5, almost.
One guy I killed deliberately because I pulled up a weapon that I wanted to grab, and he's like, hey, this will work out great. And I'm like, all right, push, and with vehicle drop.
And what I've done to you a couple times when I go request it, then I go run up to the person and like push them
I do.
out of the way.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done that too.
I'm saving you. Get out of the way. But I think it's funny because I think that's just part of the game because I think it's always been part of Halo where the AI, the Marines, always been a little bit of goofiness to them, right? A little bit of humor and you know, you're a
That's
Master Chief.
morbid.
You're the
That's
one
not
that's
humor.
perfect.
That's morbid.
It's just funny. I think it's funny. I love it.
That is Squid Game level.
Hey, you know, if you can't hear the damn thing dropping, it's your fault.
I almost put up on Robin. You're like, that's just morbid.
Especially when you request the scorpion. And you
Oh,
see it
yeah.
probably like
That thing will kill like 3 people when it drops. They're all
funny?
ready to jump in and they all get killed as soon as it drops. And I'm like, how did that help anybody?
Hey, Myke, I don't know if you can, but you can go to my Twitter and pull that one clip that I shared. I don't know if you can, you know, do that real quick just, you know, the humor where, you know, where I was driving around the Warthog and I went off the side and the dialogue that the AI Marines have, I love it, you know.
Oh, dude, there's some great dialogue in this one.
It
I
is.
think they did a great
It
job.
can be
with it.
repetitive. You can only, you know, they'll only put so much, right? They say some of the same stuff here and there, but
Have you
love
actually stopped and listened to some of the communication towers too?
yeah.
That's just brilliant, dude. Every
With the
night as I
front,
got
right, some of
further
the
in,
front.
and
Yeah.
almost had them all down, I started stopping and listening just to see what they would say new. Because I was hoping for something really dramatic when I got down to the last one, like the guy really wanting to wheel and deal more. And I'm like, come on, man, do it. It's the last one.
Am I the only one that played this game and I did not have like, oh, this will be great in multiplayer? It's like, how would this even work in multiplayer? Story-wise, the fights, sure, you know, the more the merrier. But story-wise, it's like, how does it fit in with more than one? We can be all Master Chief, right?
No.
That
Yeah,
would be
but
Well,
Well,
that's-
I mean, I think in the original
Nobody
Halo
was
it made
hosting.
less sense. In this one, it makes more sense because you've got the new Spartan initiative going on since was it Guardians or whatnot, the last one, where they have more Spartans. And I always kind of looked at it as it's more of like a virtual simulation thing. They're not actually really killing each other. It's more of a training simulation kind of thing, or it feels more real. But I mean, you're just respawning anyway, so they're basically in like a VR simulator getting trained for responsiveness and stuff. That's how I kind of looked at it.
Four. I mean, we've
done that before in the 4 and 5 and where whoever's hosting. So I think whoever hosts it, you're in their game. And so it's going to play out the same no matter what. And just because there's 3 other Master Chiefs, it doesn't matter. It's like, so if you haven't played it before, your stuff is going to unlock, right? It unlocks for everybody?
I have no idea.
I don't know how that works.
I thought it did on the Halo 5s and 4s, right?
I know when I did 3. I know when I did 3 and 4 with friends, we were like, it would do certain, like when you had a quick time event, it would go to like one particular player and stuff like that. But I think of achievements, whatever you did in there counted as like your achievement, but you didn't get credit for like their stuff towards your achievement, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
and one thing about the AI real quick, like Project Dip, you know, Razorback over Warthog, and I agree with that. One thing too I love about the AI is that when you go and save them or anywhere you go, they'll go and get other guns, right? They go, oh yeah, I got, you know, grab a rocket launcher or whatever, and it's cool to see the Marines in the back with multiple weapons, and you got someone with rocket launcher and different Covenant weapons and all that, and I think that's great.
Yeah, the most messed up thing is when you got a guy sitting shotgun right next to you with a rocket launcher. I'm like,
Yeah.
shouldn't you be in the back?
It still works though.
The verticality in the game too is something really good. Like, so some of these clips I'm showing where I'm using the grapple hook. The grapple shot is probably my most used thing in the game. Is it for you guys as well? The absolute most used thing.
Yeah,
I use it a lot.
Mobility. I didn't use it as offensively as much until towards the end.
Yeah.
And then I started realizing I'd already upgraded this thing, and I'm not utilizing like the big punch it can do
effectively.
And I'm like, as soon as I learned that, I go, wow, this is broken. Like this is like broken. This will bust up almost any shield in the game almost immediately and do some pretty serious damage to the target at the same time, making them pretty easy to pick off. The only thing it didn't really work very well against was the big hunter guys, which are honestly they're pretty threatening in this one. I felt like I thought they did a good job making them really dangerous.
There are two. There's a skull in the upper part of the map.
Those
There
guys
are
suck.
The ones
Two
in
of
red,
them.
the red
Yeah,
hunters?
Yeah.
those guys suck. You only run into them
I
one other time in the game, and they suck.
ran
They're
into them, and then I ran out of ammo, so I had to. All right, I'm out of here. Gotta run. You know.
I tried.
go
I
back later.
grabbed a banshee, and tried to mow him down with a banshee.
Oh,
and
it
I
doesn't work very
just-
well. So
No,
tough.
Yeah, you have to
I
shoot
know.
their shooting arm.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
can do it. I did it with.
But you
I
got-
did it
you
with
have to
Banshee,
throw
but
a
it
lot
takes
and the
a
kitchen
long
sink out.
time.
I'll tell you,
Am
when
I
I
the
ended
only
up-
one that thought the Covenant vehicles just didn't feel very effective in this game? Like their damage output was really pitiful.
the banshee is not as strong as it used to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The
no.
wasp is a hell of a.
Wasp is better, but slower.
yeah.
That's
It's
close.
just
The
it's,
Wasp just has a little,
way more complicated to
PP
maneuver.
gun on the front. It doesn't
Yeah,
it?
but
Oh,
just-
Peter, you can.
you can
Peter,
steady,
you
you
know
can
there's.
switch the missile.
straight,
Hold on, wait.
keep it on target, and it just works better.
Wait, Peter, you know the wasp can shoot missiles, right?
No, I
That's
didn't.
why.
Oh,
really?
Yes,
Battles
press
of
the
Fire
Y
Gun?
button.
Yeah.
Son of a.
Okay, that would make more
I was
sense.
wondering
Wait, the whole
why.
Going back
game
to
is
that.
in the
You know, I beat the whole
middle.
game. I couldn't do it with the Wraith either, and I'm like, why? You had this.
It
Where
did,
is
yeah.
it here?
Yeah, that's you hit the Y button and it switches and if you're going up against a banshee or
Yeah.
or something else that you get close in on, it homes. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I learned
Oh
something
wait,
new.
did
Yeah.
that
I'm gonna have to find that on the PC controls then because I couldn't figure out how to get it to
watch,
fire it.
watch the guy on the
Yeah.
right. Oh,
Yeah.
See?
Hey, real quick,
Kill
but
All the
there's,
time, man.
when you're picking your vehicle, why are some blue and some orange? 'Cause I was confused.
Yeah,
at
they're modified
Yeah, they're modified vehicles. Yeah, same thing
All the
happens with
orange
weapons.
with the guns too. Yeah.
There's a modified battle rifle that I actually don't like as well because it's tweaked for close range combat, and I don't use the battle rifle for that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
mid to
so-
long range sniping for me, and changing it for close quarters combat. I'd rather have a shotgun. I don't understand, but whatever.
So yeah, so see how it says gun goose and it says mongoose variant?
Oh, okay. So I
So
didn't
the
catch
gun
that.
goose
Amazing.
the gun goose
So I guess the
has
Razorback is a modified Warthog, right?
yes.
That's why it's orange. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there were like two different versions of the Warthog. There was like a rocket one, and there was like a laser one.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
there was the Razorback, which was another modified one.
I
And the
haven't come
Razorback
across the laser.
yeah, the Razorback one was basically just way heavier armored and harder to tip
Yeah,
over.
it is. Yeah.
Oh. I found that once I got everything powered up with all the Spartan cores,
Yeah.
two of my favorite specials are the radar, the sonar, right? And believe it or not, the drop wall.
You know what?
Yeah.
I don't
use that.
I don't like the drop wall. And the reason I don't like it is it doesn't seem to work with human weapons. It works great with Covenant weapons.
No,
But I didn't get any electrical boost out of it with the human weapons. I didn't notice
I used it.
anything. Matter of fact, you can even get shots through it.
No, you're not supposed to. I used it for when I entered a room full of people, and they were all pointing their guns at me, and
Mhm.
when you get your armor knocked out, throw up a wall, hide behind it, get yourself square, and when it's fully powered up, that thing can take a beating.
Yeah, I
Dra-
didn't find it as effective. I might in the higher difficulty levels, but I usually found I found the sonar pretty effective, particularly once you
threat
could throw out
sensor,
like
yeah.
two of them. Then you could cover a really wide area, and particularly on some of the forward operating bases that they like to hide the cloaked guys. Because I'd walk up and I'm like, there's nobody here.
Yeah.
What's going on? And it bit me
yeah.
once, and the next time I'm like, no. Fool me once, shame on me. But I have a sonar. I'm not falling for that again. So I'd start launching those down to catch people. And I'd use that, and I'd use the grappler, and then the shield upgrade was just a no-brainer. That was the first one I did, because if you don't do that, that's just dumb. Sorry.
I envision Dread with his fingers in his ears like this, because he hasn't played the campaign at all.
Close enough. I've been ignoring you guys.
As long as we don't rebuild
Dread
most people should ignore me by default.
Yeah, as long as we're not gonna, rebuild.
No, we're not spoiling anything.
You guys haven't spoiled anything,
main campaign.
so I'm not too worried about it. But it was just
some of the features, and you know what? Even though I unlocked all the features upgraded, I didn't start using the drop shield until the end. I don't know why. But then, like you said, Mike, you get inside and there's a lot of people, and the flying enemy. I can't remember the name.
Swarmers.
Is that what they're called?
I can't remember if that's what they're called, but that's kind of what I started.
One is like they're like AI, right? They're they're part of the
Fire.
Halo.
Yeah.
It's fire, yeah. And I had to use. There was one where you were moving along, right, on the rail, like you're moving along, and they're just coming attacking you as you're moving along, and I had to use that shield several times.
Dude, those swarmer guys, those guys drive me crazy because they got those pulse, they got those lightning rifles.
Yeah.
And that weapon I found really hard to adapt to on my own. But man, you hit a vehicle with that thing and it just shuts it down. That was a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you how many times I was trying to clear stuff out with a wasp and got nailed with that thing.
Yeah, that's interesting how they throw that, like the EMP, whatever, and you're flying and then you drop. You had to be careful with that. I make sure that I'm not somewhere where I could just, fall real high.
Fall to your death. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been neat, real challenging, especially the elite ones that are cloaked. Those are fun,
I love how they did the high value targets in this one.
Yeah,
and I won't go into details on those, but I love the fact that they had almost every rank and file of Covenant soldier be a high value target at one point or another. And they all had a little dialogue story, which I thought was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I like that.
If you care to go into it, I thought that was a wonderful touch. And you got like a cool modified weapon out of it. And some of those were actually pretty good.
Yeah. I felt bad, like when you run out of ammo, like you couldn't refill a couple of them.
See, I disliked that, and then I kind of understood it because it was more like a temporary power up you could give yourself that was a limited time power up, and then you'd have to switch back to the regular type again, right? So
once you unlock those, you found them. Were you? I don't remember, but able to use them again later on, or
you can do them anytime at the forward operating base. Once you unlock them, you can select them if you go up to the chests, the weapon chests.
Even the Covenant
bigger weapons? Yeah, even the Covenant weapons.
Okay,
all those blades show up. All those show up there. Every single one of them. Yeah. You can just select them on your layout before you take off.
Yeah.
So now I would go back to the forward operating base, pick out my favorite layout, and then go.
Yeah. I know before the game came out, we were talking about how much of this, what kind, open world, and how much of it, some RPG elements. And I know, Mike, you were concerned, like, would this be like a looter shooter and all this? And but now that we played, I kind of wish that we had a little bit more control on kind of upgrading our weapons. I know we're doing it on our, the Master Chief's suit. I wish they allowed you to do that with the weapons. Like you can pick and choose, because we, you unlock some upgraded weapons, right? I wish we were able to do that on our as a choice on certain weapons.
Yeah, I'd like more of a back for blood customization system on your weapons.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'll be honest, I'm good with the way they are.
It's good.
To me, it's pure Halo. You're part of Master Chief's abilities is to be able to use his surroundings. Picking up that shock rifle, because your main weapon ran out, so let me go grab that shock rifle.
I'm not saying you don't do that. I'm saying, like, while you have ammunition for it, you continue to sustain ammunition for it. Having a modified whatever weapon would be great.
Yeah.
And one you could go back to your forward operating base and pick up again.
Just pick it up
once you had it customized.
Yeah, but throughout the campaign, you may not,
may not be able to keep it the whole time because you don't have ammo like any other weapon, right?
I'm not.
No, but
I'm
I
not
mean,
a
you have
fan
the
of that
option,
for this
right?
kind
You
of game.
just like if you want to modify your vehicles or weapons, which they're already kind of doing that already, but for you, so you just pick and choose. But
All right, so Peter, you've
Would've
been
been
through the whole thing, and minus the fact that you didn't, you weren't firing wasp
Yeah, I
wasp
can't believe
rockets.
it. I can't believe it. They didn't have that. It gets a fail in the game for not showing me that that's a possibility.
man, lost the point.
You know what's
There it
funny
is,
is
it's-
I finally got to fly a wasp in one of the multiplayer matches, and all I could do is shoot the machine gun. I was like, I swear there was missiles on this, and I'm like hitting everything, but I never hit Y.
Yeah.
I mean, I even jumped out of it, hitting the wrong button. But yet again, it's like, would have been nice to know. Would have been nice if it was more evident.
You Halo rookies.
Halo rookies.
Wait.
Hey.
Didn't the person who say that was another person who didn't find the weapon? I'm wondering.
Yo, it's my favorite person in chat, or with the favorite name in chat. It's Mass Ho. What's up, buddy?
All right, so Peter, your campaign impressions.
That was excellent. I thought. There's only one point in time when I thought where it felt repetitive, and that's where the let's see.
How to phrase with no spoilers?
Yeah. It's close towards the end. But it almost seems like you have to fight in a simulation area.
Okay.
They're like
I
3 in
know
a
what you're
row,
talking-
or 2
Yeah, I
in
know
a
what you're
row, or 3 in a row. It's like, okay, they could have just done one of them. And
Yeah.
See, my big
A
problem
couple
was the
repetitive.
power cell fetching thing. I thought that was a little I mean, it was okay.
Yeah, but
I did-
but some of them were
Yeah.
tricky though, and it was kind of cool. Yeah,
And there's
trying
a
to
part-
find those.
There's a part. Shoot, how do we do this with Dread here? Damn it.
Well, you know what? Well, let me just
Mute your
Well,
take
but
off
you
the
don't want to
headset.
spoil for everybody.
Yeah.
do
who's
a
not
wave,
watching
do a
either, so-
wave, do a wave on screen, so I'll know that you're calling. You're bringing me
Alright,
back
so-
in.
So this will be the
Okay.
the sign.
All right.
Right,
But
spoilers.
also people in chat, we want to
All right, yes, people in
Spoiler,
chat.
spoiler.
Spoiler alert. And I hate doing it, but
But
I haven't
wait,
finished
hold
the
on.
game
I
either.
haven't finished the campaign yet either. So don't.
how far are all right, Chris? How far are you?
I'm at the end where I have to go save what's his name.
You're far enough in for most of my complaints on it. Then, well, pretty much all my complaints, which are
Alright.
pretty minor complaints. It's nothing major. I'd still easily give it an 8 or an 8.5.
No, but the power seed area that I think you might be talking about is kind of vital to the story, because as you're getting the power seeds, some things are unfolding that tie some things together.
You're talking about like all the exposition and stuff like that they're doing at that point. I feel like you
Yes.
could have done that without that, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, but when? The whole point of being in that particular area was what he was experiencing while he was going through that area. And so that whole thing tied it all together with that particular place.
They had other travel points where they did it differently and it worked, right? Or they could have done that in various different parts on the open world, I feel like, rather than when you're going into the main enclosed areas. Because
I
they
don't know.
always did it in the same areas, and a lot of those areas felt the same in design. I didn't have any problem with the design. It's very reminiscent of Halo 1, right? All the Forerunner structures all kind of blur together at one point or another because they're Forerunner structures, right?
Yeah.
But I felt like they could have done more of that in different pockets in the open world, or if you really wanted more of that lore, like they could have even done more with it and had more optional parts of that out there where you could go in and you could listen to, like, say, an echo or whatever, right? You know what I mean? And run into those, or just in
Well, I
different
think it's
sections.
because those areas were attached to the Forerunner, but in the open world, it was more the Banish towers and stuff. It was just different tech.
Yeah, I just feel like all the ring is interconnected by this.
No, it
based off
is.
the
It
story,
is,
right?
but
Ring itself is all interconnected. Anywhere there, you should have been able to see some of that. I feel
But-
like I don't know.
no, I got you. But that particular exposition that finished the way it did was a part of the main story, and I don't think they could have told that out in the open world.
I thought I missed something from the previous game, but watching other reviews after I finished it, all that stuff was in the books.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even in the games. That's why I wanted to go back and play Guardians, because I played all of them. I played 1 through 4, and I played Reach. I didn't play ODST, and I didn't play Guardians. Those were the only 2 out of the main stream of the series that I have not played outside of the RTSs, right? And apparently one of the main bosses in this is a big boss from the
Yeah.
RTS. And I'm like,
I know.
you're
Yeah.
pulling all this stuff from like everywhere, from stuff that is great for people that have played like all your content, but most of us are sitting there going, who the hell is this guy? Right?
Well, they did say, like, if you want to learn some of the stuff, like this game was going to be more based off stuff in the book. And then, of course, Halo Wars 2, as far as the Banish.
Yeah, see, I
Wanted
didn't
that backdrop.
read up on any of that before this came out, so I didn't even know that was a
Right.
thing. So I didn't know to prep for that.
Yeah.
I wonder
So
if
I
we're-
completely missed it. It was so
Should have been
fun.
listening to
I
the show more. No.
thought of it, but
I wonder though
Yeah.
if we're talking about the same same place.
mine was towards the very end where you had to do it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
you go into 4 different rooms and
One
Yeah.
is like 2, 1 3, one
Yeah.
is like 4,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
gets a little repetitive and ridiculous
Yeah.
at some point.
no, but while that's going on, there's a piece of the story that's getting told that is
The
actually
echoes where you're here. Yeah.
where you're hearing
I
her.
enjoyed the story part. That made it more tolerable. I just thought the fetching itself got a little
Okay,
old.
all right, I
That's-
got you. I
I
got
didn't
you.
mind
I think
the
they
story.
did that because they gave you different challenges at those fetching areas, right? You had to go up against certain,
Yeah,
like you had one
I
area for
found all
Banish.
those all that challenging though. I always approached them the same way I did anything else in the game. The only
Oh,
other
yeah.
part I found particularly challenging was when they throw you into like a boss arena, and I think that was my big sticking point on the game that, in retrospect, I didn't like as well, because those arenas were skewed so one-sided that it was almost more puzzle than it was combat, trying to figure out how you're supposed to approach this fight, right?
Mhm.
Particularly one towards the end, and the part that you're talking about, Peter, that one part that you thought was repetitive, the fight near the end of that
Yeah.
was super frustrating. It was probably the most irritating fight. That one, and there was one real earlier with a guy with a big gravity hammer that I found particularly frustrating. Those were the 2 most annoying ones. And both of those had to do with arena that 1000% favored them and made it almost impossible for you to outmaneuver them, which I found a little frustrating. I mean, eventually I got it done because I managed to beat the campaign, but I could see a lot of people tapping out at the one just with the gravity hammer. I did that guy like maybe 10 times before I finally managed to execute my plan the way I wanted to, and that was just on normal. I can only imagine what he's going to be like if I do it on heroic.
Yeah.
Trying to,
Yeah, I did mine normal too.
that wasn't one of the wanted, was it?
No, this is part of the main story. These are all big guys you run into as part of the main story.
But I thought there was a wanted one with the hammer too.
There
There
was.
is, but he was much easier to deal with because you have more space to deal with him.
True.
Well,
And
yeah.
he was still hard to deal with. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
When they give those guys gravity hammers, for some reason they can leap like the Hulk and
Yeah.
still land and kill you in one shot. But anytime
Yes,
I have it,
but
I
you-
get like this little leap. Like I took a short little hop. I can't even jump as much as I can normally with the thing. I don't understand the gravity hammer. I really don't.
But I
It's
will
only
say
vicious
this.
when it's used against me. When I use it, it doesn't do anything.
But what's cool is
particular-
that in the campaign you can use a grapple hook if you have the gravity hammer, and it'll hit them with the hammer when you grapple.
Yeah, no, that would
Yeah, I
be the
thought that was
only way
cool.
I would use the gravity hammer.
Yeah.
that
Or
particular
even the
guy.
energy sword to an extent, even though I can use that one a little bit better.
That
I just
particular
don't-
guy.
Melee weapons and me and Halo aren't great.
I'll tell you why I didn't have a problem with that guy. Because I rolled up on him with a warthog, and
Oh yeah.
All I did was get in the back of the
If you're talking
Warthog.
about one of the wanted guys, I could see that.
Yeah.
The one I'm talking about, that is not an option, sir.
How far into the game was it? Because I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if I'd already got him. Where was that? I'm trying to think where that was.
The one that I'm talking about is they're digging this big hole in the ground with a big laser.
Yeah.
And he has a particular name, but I don't want to give away the name because it's gonna. I've already told
right.
more about the story than I feel like it should be saying.
All right. I don't think
Yeah.
I've gotten there yet.
What? You sure?
Oh.
It's pretty early. He's like one
Is
of
it?
the.
Yeah.
He's like maybe the second one you run into.
Hey, AssassinLupa.
Quick shout out to AssassinLupa. First, he says, "Have an amazing new year, NLG crew. Happy New Year to you too, Lupa."
Yeah.
And then
Happy New Year, Lupa.
for £5 super chat, here's to a better 2022 for us all. Love you guys. Keep it going, NLG. You're all awesome.
We love you, Lupa.
Lupa,
Yeah.
you're awesome.
And
Well,
better
Lupa,
2022
you
for
make
you
it
too.
better too.
You do.
We appreciate you.
You do. And we had so much fun with you last week playing,
Mm-hmm.
and we've got to do that more. We've got to do that
Yep.
more.
We do once a month. I mean, like we do our stream. You know, we could do that, right? Depending on the game, right? Just, yeah, everybody join us. Love it.
Absolutely. All right,
Yeah.
so I think I did fight him, and I don't think I had a problem with him. I don't remember having a big problem with him.
Dude, I had
That's why
trouble
I'm not
getting enough
remembering it.
distance because it was such a small area.
It was. Yeah.
And that was my big problem with it. Once I was able to use some of the stuff in the environment to my advantage, it got easier. And I found those things pretty early on, but he kept catching me in bad spots repeatedly. Because I died there one time, and then when it would respawn me, it would respawn me almost when he was right on top of me with a hammer. And so
I use my grappling hook a lot.
I did too.
I did
Yeah.
too.
That's the
I
only way
just
to
use
get
my
away
grappling
with
hook
it.
a lot.
Like, jump
Right
up and
close
then
on
put
me.
it on the ground and kind of prepare
Um,
yourself and get around columns and stuff.
But I
But
did
that's
notice
how-
I try to use those. What are those things called? They have the different lights you could throw them. They kind of explode.
Oh, the coils.
Oh,
yeah.
the coils, yeah.
So there was one where you're talking about where the blue coils, and I used that as an advantage to hit him as he was coming towards me, and it shocks him, right? Kind of holds him there, and then you can kind of, take him out a little bit. But
I mean,
You do have to
I
use the
ended up
environment.
picking a couple things and like chucking them at him.
yeah,
And that finally did the trick, but it took me 3 or 4 times, I think, to get him maneuvered the right way as I was frantically moving around that area to get in the spot to where I could grab that and not accidentally grab something else. Because sometimes I would grab right next to it and it'd pull me right next to it, and then he'd be leaping on top of me and it would kill us both.
Mm.
And I had a lot of like just issues navigating that area with the grappling hook and him.
Mhm.
Like normally the grappling hook wasn't a problem, but in that particular arena, I just struggled with it for some reason. I don't know why. He was
Also,
one of
like-
the biggest ones that I struggled with in the entire campaign. Outside of the last boss, which I thought was kind of the third phase on that, I thought was a little on the cheap side, but I got it down. So
Another thing that I did was I collected the coils first before you have to
Mhm.
hit the button that starts like a sequence. I don't know what's
yeah,
for one of the bosses and stuff.
yeah.
So then you can use those to kind
That
of
does-
like
yeah.
keep peppering him with. You just
I'll
have to
tell you-
watch out that he doesn't shoot one of those boxes because that will get
Yeah.
you.
yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where I used the grappling hook probably the best was against the hunters, because what I would end up doing was
Yeah.
I'd run at the hunter, who would be like, "Oh, that's an easy kill." I would actually point to the ground and I would grapple the ground to get behind him. Come to find out, he doesn't turn very fast. So I grapple right behind him, turn around, and I'd hit him. And you know how there's always two.
Mm-hmm.
I always, if I ever died and knew I was going back to an area where they were out in the open, I'd get an energy sword, and I'd go and I grapple behind them, turn around, energy sword. You do it twice, they go down.
Dude, I miss
That's
them.
how
from
I killed the
one.
red
I could
ones.
shoot them with a pistol.
That's how I killed. That's how I killed the red ones. I finally got out of the pelican. I finally got out of the banshee. I had the energy sword, and I tried the same thing, and eventually got him. It was like I spent an hour trying to kill him with a banshee. I spent 2 minutes killing him with the energy sword.
Well, I can tell you that you run into guys like that 2 more times in the entirety of the game, and those are some of the toughest, just normal guys you run into.
But the normal ones with the green,
those are still tough.
They're tough, but I feel like they're easier in Halo Infinite than they were in past Halos. I don't know, maybe it's just me.
I always compare them to the first Halo, where they were like the easiest thing in the world because you could actually just run behind them.
Yeah,
and you couldn't spin as fast. They can spin much quicker now, and they're a lot more aggressive now.
Yeah.
And they started doing that around 2. And even in 2, I thought they were a little easier to deal with than they were in Infinite. I feel like they progressively kind of scaled them a little bit to where they feel more threatening. Because in Halo 1, once you understood the trick of getting behind them and using your pistol,
yeah,
they were an absolute joke to kill. It was like one shot. It was very broken.
But yeah, overall, this Halo, well, the game in all year has been great. But since I jumped on Halo Infinite, the campaign, it's my game of the year. So
I don't know if I call it my game of the year. I still think Dread's my game of the year. I felt I was almost as addicted to Halo as I was Dread. But Dread, if I put it down for like 15, 20 minutes, I wanted to play it again. Halo, I could put down for a couple of hours. Yeah. And that's really the only distinction. I was really focused on both of those when I played them. But I think it's been so much longer since I've had that kind of Metroid experience that it was a little more meaningful to me personally.
Yeah, I'm in that mode right now where Halo's all I want to play.
Yeah, me too. And I still need to go back and finish Far Cry 6. And I'm having a good time in that.
I want to start the gunk.
I wrote that off at 5. I hated 5. I absolutely hated 5. I played through that one. Campaign
5 was my first.
Oh,
I didn't play the first 4.
Far Cry 1 was amazing technically because you could literally track people by sound because the enemies made different sounds on different textures. They were grouped together to like hunt you and stuff like that. It really had something special to it technically when it came out. And then I kind of fell out of the series for a while after that. I came back in on 5. And there were a couple things that bugged me about 5. One was I absolutely detested the good ending, like the one where you went through and played the game.
Oh, yeah.
I detested that. That ruined the entire game for me. Hated that. With I'm still pissed talking about it now. That's how much I hate that ending. And the fact that the best ending was just walking away within 10 minutes of the game. That makes me irrationally angry. Don't put that stuff in games. Don't give me a 40
They've always done that, though.
A great ending, not playing your game. If you don't want me to play your game, don't make your game. Otherwise, give me the best ending when I do the right things in the game. I'm sorry. I can't forgive that. The other one was being pulled into boss fights randomly while I was busy clearing out an area because it decided it was time for a boss fight. I hated that. Those are things about 5 that drove me crazy.
All right, let me hold on real quick. There's 2 videos that I want to show. One is.
And I need to get back to Valhalla too.
All right.
Yeah, you need to.
All right, I'm gonna bring Dread back, and I think we've finished spoiling it.
Yeah,
right,
I'm
Dread.
back.
Hi, Dread.
No.
We've
and
ruined
then
all
what
the
happened
things.
was.
Well, on that
all right.
Master Chief, he did.
All right, so
he
here's
took off his helmet and he was Cletus.
Oh no.
It was actually Cortana under the helmet all the time.
Yeah.
All right, here's the video that Chris had.
Turn up the volume. It's funny.
Yep. What are you doing?
I was just trying to see if there was another way around, like to.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just playing around.
Nice! This is so stupid. Let's do it again.
Nice.
I was just sitting here thinking, as you're going off the cliff, what is your plan again?
I was just being silly and tried to let me see if I can get around to the other side, the other end. And when I got there, I was like, oh well. You know, because you spawn. What great is you just spawn with the Warthog and with the Marines that you already had in there, so
All right.
you don't really
and
lose anything.
For Lupa.
Oh.
Nice, Lupa. That is so ladylike.
That's wrong. She did you dirty with a pulse gun.
with the shock rifle.
Yeah, she did you dirty with a shock rifle. That's not right.
Jago.
Oh, Jago.
So I'm guessing if there was any sound of this, you would hear bzzz.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's funny.
It's a Covenant version of a vibrator, I guess. I don't know.
All
Yeah, I
right.
saw that, Jago. I haven't seen that, but one day.
Cube campaign. No, I don't think I've seen that.
He posted a picture of it.
I have almost
Twitter.
killed myself trying to get to areas that it looked like I should be able to get to.
Yeah.
And then it told me I was leaving the battle zone. I'm like, then why did you put this cool little island that I want to go to now?
Oh
Right.
yeah.
That'll be in the expansion.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one negative thing about the whole Halo thing is you cannot replay missions and stuff.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, that'd be
yet.
fun to be able to.
But if you go back to the area, the enemies respawn.
In a
Yeah,
lot of
but
the
you cannot
outposts, they
say
do.
there's some skulls and other collectibles in some of the mission buildings, and you can't enter those again.
Yeah, I haven't been able to figure that out either. So I don't really have all the skulls because some of them, you're right, that's the one shot you have to be able to get them. And if you miss
But like
them, you're
Rich
just
said,
sort of,
they're aware of it and they are going to implement that.
Yeah. Yeah, they said they would they would work on at least replaying those or chapter select or whatever they're called.
that would be cool because I mean, it'd be nice to at least go back for collectibles and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Because there's some audio logs I'm missing too. Then some of those you can only get there as well.
That's one thing too. Like you hear that beep beep, and whether it's the USNC or the
Yeah.
Spanish, I got to go find it. But I even with all the side stuff that you could do, I've done a pretty good job staying on the main mission. So I don't feel like I'm being too distracted on the main mission.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way. I mean, when I go off to do side stuff, it's because I want to. I mean, I'm always aware.
Yeah.
They almost pester the crap out of you with the main mission if you're not doing the main mission after a certain amount of
It
time.
did, yeah, I know.
So it's kind of hard to not to lose the main mission in the game, which is good for an open world game. Too many of them, like GTA, I know it's really easy with like everything that opens up the map to like completely lose the point of whatever the heck you're doing. So much so that I just don't enjoy those games because there's too much random stuff on there. I'm like, I don't want to tow cars for 8 hours in this game. Like, I don't even want to do it one time, but you're making it a mission to introduce it to me. I don't want this. I just want to see the story.
The skulls, you know what? I have not come across any skulls, and I haven't really been looking for them, but it's weird that I haven't come across any by accident.
I found about 5 or 6 of them, and one of them, the first one I found was the one that with those 2 big hunter guys that Myke was talking about.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what was going on. I just knew that they killed me a few times, and now I wanted them dead.
Yeah.
And so when I killed them, I heard this weird noise, and I'm like, the heck is that noise? Oh, this is going to get worse, isn't it? And then I found the item, and I'm like, oh, that kind of explains why they were there. God, I hope those guys aren't on all of them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we have when we go, I don't know, nearly 2 hours on Halo.
Yes, sir. Just as long as the campaign. Ah, just kidding.
Say you killed it.
Wow.
Hey.
Wow. All right.
I may bow out of here and listen because I want to spend some time with my wife since we are on vacation. And I've streamed 3 nights in a week in a row. I've been streaming every night this week.
She needs to join you. Then it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't have anything to say about Halo, primarily because She has difficulty playing it because it makes her motion sick. It's not that I don't think she would enjoy it. I think she would if she could play it, but it always gives her motion sickness. So I never end up recommending it to her because I mean, if you can't stand Master Chief's motion when he's running, you're not going to handle most other FPSs either because his is the most minor that I've seen, and it hasn't changed since forever. So I mean, she didn't like it at 1. She's not going to like it now, which is sad because I think she'd have fun with it.
Yeah, my wife, she enjoys Halo, and in the past we would, do some couch co-op on the Master Chief Collection. So, and I've already told her, once co-op comes into play on this one, I want her and my 8-year-old get her going on Halo.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. But yeah, glad you jumped in here with this, Nick.
Now, I wanted to jump in some of that conversation because I was kind of like, okay, I've got some strong opinions here, and I can't type all this.
Yeah, no, but
I know how that feels. There's been times you guys been talking about other stuff, and I'm like, oh, there's just too much to type.
I know. Yeah.
and then by the time you're done with the first sentence, the conversation's already shifted out of that.
It's already gone. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we are definitely going to shift out and talk about what we were actually going to talk about before we were like, oh, we should talk about Halo since we've all played a campaign, except, Dread, who messaged me an hour before the show to say, hey, I come on. Mm-hmm. But let's do that, and we can get Nick's one from each for Nick of this. So, Peter, you want to roll to the next topic?
Yes. Topic number 2. Best and worst of 2021.
Yes. So, this was the original point of what we're going to do tonight, since it is the day before the new year. Wanted to talk about what we thought was kind of the best in video games and the worst in video games of 2021. So, Nick, you could give us one of each if you've got a run.
I'm trying to think, and are easily my best is a split, depending on genre, between I would say Halo Infinite and Metroid Dread. I like Metroid Dread a little bit better overall, but that's more personal preference as far as me not having had a really good game like Metroid in a longer time than I've had a good game like Halo. Right? I can get a good FPS experience outside of Halo. It doesn't feel quite like Halo, but I can get that same kind of fix. But Metroid's a very specific kind of fix for me that I only really get with a really good Metroid game. Metroid Dread scratched that itch quite well. As far as worst, I was kind of struggling with that because I'm trying to remember what came out this year and what came out last year. I remember overall being pretty disappointed with a lot of stuff in Outriders. I didn't think it was a bad game, but it was disappointing compared to what I wanted it to be. Probably the worst game that I played, and this I don't even think this counts as this year. It was the Call of Duty that launched with the PS5, but I think that was last year. That was like the biggest disappointment I'd had in years because that thing was just straight up broken from launch and stayed broken and pretty much got me in and out of Call of Duty again, like instantly. As soon as I loaded it up, I'm like, oh, why did I buy this? This is terrible. I think I played it 5 minutes and decided it wasn't worth my time. I guess those are. I think at least Outriders was this year, wasn't it? Was it early this year?
Yeah.
Yeah,
earlier this year, right?
Yeah. So I'd have to go with Outriders. I mean, I like a lot of the stuff they were doing with it, but all the loading screens and some of the tedium of how it worked, I didn't really care for it personally. And it's not bad or completely broken, just slightly disappointing.
Okay. Awesome. Dread. And it can also be, by the way, pick. It doesn't have to be a game. Can be a something that happens, something that, an event.
Okay. I know what you're getting at because that is what I'm going to say.
All right. So give and Nick, you
So-
hang out as long as you want to hang out, of course.
Okay. And Nick,
so-
if you dump out before I finish talking, for whatever reason, it was good seeing you again. Let the missus know I miss her too. And this is why, right? Because the Amico event. This was the highlight for the year, was meeting everybody at the Amico event. Not watching Nick eat off screen, but
You love
Sorry.
it, and you know it.
Yeah. No, but no, that was like really for me, it was the pre-mini E3, because I have never done a game show or event of any sort like this. You know what I mean? So I've always wanted to go to PAX. I always wanted to go to the Twitch Con or whatever that's called. And Carlo and I have talked about doing something like that. So, and then everything got shut down. You know what I mean? So, and then with the opportunity that Myke had given me behind the scenes ahead of time, the heads up of what was going to happen with the Amico Fest, that was like really cool. And like I said, I got to hang out with Myke. I got to meet a whole bunch of cool people that I normally would never have met. There's some people that I met through Next Level Gaming that I got to meet in person, and it just the whole thing as a whole was really cool. The other thing as a highlight was, I'm gonna say it, plain and simple. I know it's a favorite of mine, and it's gonna be Halo. It's back. Even with the downfalls and the negativity that it's garnering righteously, it's still more of a highlight for me. The probably the worst of 2021 is still going to be the ruling champion, the Twitter trolls. You know what I mean? So when it comes to that part of gaming, that's really the horrible part. The other thing is, it's yet again another continuation of the worst part of 2021. Broken games, on games that were unfinished and released, stuff like that. Misinformation from certain leaders in the gaming industry. There's been certain misinformation between the nobodies on Twitter, right? We're all nobodies, but there's certain nobodies that get a little bit of clout because they're giving out misinformation. So there's a lot of that when it comes to it. But overall, gaming for me in 2020 has been a positive thing, because I like to focus more on that than the worst. And like I said, having an opportunity to meet a whole bunch of cool people, play games. I mean, who wouldn't? And I know this is kind of like tooting my own horn, but who wouldn't want to go to another state to go see some other function that was going on, and then by chance see a couple people that you knew walk out of a building and say, "Hey, if they're walking out of a building, I want to see what building they were in." You walk in there and you find out it's an arcade / used game store, and the owner
remember
says,
this.
"Yeah, and the owner says, he was just told to listen to your podcast just the other day." You know what I mean? And it's like, are you kidding me? I mean, like, the whole trip, like I said, stuff like that. The whole trip was just amazing. There was just so many cool things about it. I don't know what more to say, but it's just cool, And then going off of that, Breaking Bread with Dread, I got to meet Peter this last month too. So not only did Myke and I had a breaking road trip with Dread, which will always be, live in infamy. But, we didn't get a chance to actually do an official Breaking Bread. We did some other things, but I got to do this with other people in the community too. And everybody, really cool. You know what I mean? Even the last one before Peter, which I thought was probably going to be the last one that I was going to do for this year, which was Psychonauts. Yet again, another cool community member. Everybody that we lined up. We've had Infinite pushing for a Breaking Bread birthday edition for my daughter. So Tiny Giant had her own special little edition, and I didn't think that would actually do well. I was just thinking, hey, this is something really cool to do. A couple people wanted to hear it, and a lot more people actually listened to it and appreciated it. So it was kind of cool to see that they were looking on the inside of the family relationship, kind of like how Myke does with Seth. There's that bond there that you have, and sharing what you like. Because I mean, even my daughter was doing recording on her tablet. Okay, followers, da 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 da, and she's doing her own little nail thing. Little nail salon, and seeing stuff like that. So it's like, it's cool that we're doing good stuff, and it's rubbing off the right way for the next generation, and hopefully we can maintain that and keep that positivity of sharing what we love to others. So that's really it for me. I mean, I can't think of much more than, more on the positive side of gaming and the cool stuff we got to do because of what we do.
Piggyback a little bit on that. That event showed me that you can take the simplest of games and the most basic of things, and you get the right group together, and you can have tons and tons and hours of fun with it. I've never seen people laugh more. I've never seen people have more fun in a big group event like that than I have at that event there.
How about, I mean, just like that, just to piggyback off what you said, I still consider myself the outsider when it comes to that part of the Amico group, and everybody welcomed me in, no problem. People never heard of me. I never heard of them, and they still welcomed me in, and, just as well as I, welcomed them, too, to a newer, bigger group. And it just, yet again, it shows how people of different backgrounds, different thought patterns, personalities, all this stuff that you could say, that would divide us, still find ways to be united and not care about what the divisions are, other than what makes us unique in those aspects. But yet we cherish each other for our individualism and still share the same hobby. You know what I mean? We still find common ground and still, respect each other. You know what I mean? And support each other. And that's just meeting people day one. There, people were surprised when I hung out the Friday with everybody, and then Saturday hanging out again, and halfway through the show someone turns around and goes, "Oh, you're Dreadpool? Like, I've been hanging out with you for like, almost 48 hours now, and now you realize who I am?" But it was funny, and it was like, "I need to get a picture with you." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? Picture? We're just hanging out." Like, and it's stuff like that. It's like, it was just the appreciation of others when, like I said, we're all nobodies, but at the same time, somebody thinks something, and you got to look at it and appreciate that you have some sort of effect on people. And that's what we also got to remember, is there's an effect. Other people are watching us. It's not that it's our friend, this and this and that. There's other people. Yet again, there's our younger generations that are watching us too, and learning from us. So
Yeah,
I think that's the best part.
It was a very confusing experience, because even me, because my channel was even way smaller then, I had people go, "Oh yeah, I know your channel," and I'm like, "Huh?"
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's that, huh?
You'd be surprised.
Like, I felt like the kid in Afterlife, like, "Oh, you're the guy." All right. Well, guys, I'm going to drop out and let you guys finish up. Thank you so much for having me on. This was
All
an
right,
absolute
brother.
blast.
All right, Happy New
Have a
Year.
good
Yeah,
night.
thanks for
Yeah,
coming
happy
on.
New Year.
Guys.
Good
Bye.
seeing you. Happy New Year's. But I mean, stuff like this, right? This
Mhm.
type of friendship. You
Mhm.
know, this is probably, you know, the best of is growing these friendships.
Absolutely, and that's it's what makes it very fun to do things like this, right? Uh,
Yeah.
So no, I think said it great, and
Mhm.
you know, definitely echoes one of my bests of 2021 for sure. So, Peter, give us a best thing of 2021 and a worst thing.
Best things outside of actually playing game was like meeting you, Dread. That was cool.
Yeah.
It's,
We got to do it again. I didn't give you a proper intro with all the issues we had.
that's
Definitely
yeah.
gotta start it over fresh as if we never had one.
Sounds good. Sounds good. But gaming wise, let's start with the bad. I agree with you, Dread, like the trolls on Twitter, etc. But you know, I tried to tune them out. I started blocking them so I'd never have to read those tweets again, except for people who like to screen cap them and keep that flame alive.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that. But hey, but for gaming wise, it's like, yeah, there are a couple of games that I was disappointed with. One of them was Dark Alliance.
Mm.
They,
Yeah, I forgot about
they had
that.
updates and they
Yeah.
nerfed a bunch of stuff and they made it worse. That it's kind of became like unplayable. And the same thing with what's the game we were just talking about? Having my list of
Outriders.
things. Outriders was a disappointment too, with bugs and then things that changed for the good, the worst, and the bad, and the whole 9 yards. So those are kind of disappointments. My highlights of games that I really enjoyed playing was The Artful Escape.
Mm.
Really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Music was fantastic, and the visuals were just excellent too. I had a lot of fun playing that. Another game that I don't think many people have played was Spirit Fair.
Mm.
It basically help people towards, you know, at the end of their lives to help them go off. That was pretty cool too. I enjoyed that too. And then with the big stuff is Flight Simulator. That was fantastic, especially like also on console. Man, looks good, and it's like, man, that's fantastic. They did a very good job with that. Let's see. I'm just going through Far Cry 6. Really enjoyable Far Cry. Still playing it. And Forza Horizon 5. Fantastic. What an awesome racer that is.
Mhm.
Too bad it still has like, you know, your clothing stuff and other stuff. To me,
Yeah.
that's we'll get rid of it.
Agree.
I don't think they ever will.
A waste of a wheel spin.
Yeah, exactly. Another pair of pants and matching loafers. I don't know. And Halo Infinite. Man, that campaign was fantastic. The multiplayer is so good. I mean, it's been said here already, but it really feels like I'm playing the first one just better. And multiplayer, it's like I love that multiplayer, even though sometimes I suck so bad, and other times I feel like I'm a pro player. So it's really the highs and the lows, but I'm enjoying that every match, even though sometimes I rant and rave. But that's just me.
That's okay. Ranting and raving is good sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It cleanses the palate.
Oh, and another highlight is shooting Nazis with you, Myke.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wolfenstein.
Who would know that a game from when did that come out?
I don't know, a long time ago. Let's see down here.
2018?
Let's see if this gives me a date.
19 maybe.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, who'd have thought a 2-year-old game would give us such pleasure?
Yeah. So I always enjoy that.
Most definitely. So, Mr. Chris?
After listening to you guys come before, remind me a couple things. So I'm gonna start with the words. like Peter said, I enjoyed Outriders, but it did have its issues, and it didn't keep me going back. And I have not played that in a long time. And same with the other one you were just talking about, Peter, the Dungeon Dragon one.
Yeah.
Like-
Ah,
I know we were hoping that it would be a lot more like what was that other hack and slash 4-player one, that Vermintide, right?
yeah.
Like I thought that was better overall than what they try to do with this Dungeon Dragon. And so that was kind of a disappointment. But I don't drill so much on that. I'm like, okay, it wasn't up to snuff, and I just move on, right? And
Yeah.
don't, none of, we don't make a big deal about it. But I would say one of the worst was not being, because of the whole COVID deal and setbacks, that we weren't able to get the Amico in our hands this year that we thought we were, right? In October, right? We would have on the 10th, we were hoping. And then, we thought, well, maybe it'd be set back for the holidays, and that didn't happen. So hopefully, next year, early enough, maybe around April, maybe some of us, the founders and VIPs would be coming out. But what's ironic, that being part of the worst, going into the best part of the year was seeing the Miko family people come together. When y'all got together live, Myke, and with Dreadpool over there, and meeting those guys that we've interacted with online, and seeing you all guys together. Myke, we're streaming that live. That was just fun to watch. That's great. I love it. Tommy being there and him just, interacting with everybody, and you all got at Retro Bros house. And I mean, that's just amazing to see that all come together when you figure, you go back a couple years ago, right? A lot of us interacting with each other. Yeah, some of us played together online or just through YouTube podcasts. But I would say these past couple of years, especially this year, the community, GOG, has grown so much to where almost any given night we can have hey, let's, let's get together and let's play some multiplayer. And there's so many of us now that, like the other day last week, we said, hey, we're going to do some Halo Infinite multiplayer. And we got 12 of us easily.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's part of the best as far as like, I love multiplayer games where, Halo, Forza Horizon 5, of course, some of the other games we got together earlier with multiplayer, we tried out, like we try to stream once a month, a High Buster and stuff like that. That's been one of the best part for me all year, is being able, community game nights, right, with Mav, with Noof, weekly, we had that option where we could just all come together so easily. And I saw Ong earlier was saying, well, what's this GOG about? Who started it? And this is a big reason why. This is what we wanted, right, Myke? Peter, we wanted to try to shift away from this whole negativity, this bullshit in the community where it's just clickbait and this whole back and forth with the stupid console war shit that we all hate, the trolling. And this was the whole point. Like when me and Myke talked about it, it's like, no, we need to shift away, get away from that bubble, and start meeting other people. Let's form the GUG. And over time, we just kept meeting people. Mav and them came in, and we've had others come in and go, but that's no big deal, right? Because we met a lot of friends, people across the pond and Australia, all over. And all of us are able to come together on a regular basis now and just have fun. That's the best part. I can't express how much I love that and appreciate all of you guys. So, and it's just looking better for us going forward. You know, we have a great community. It's just getting better. So love all you guys and everybody in chat that come with us weekly. And that's another thing. That's one of the best parts too, is that, you know, the NLG family has grown this year with the membership. You know, we do the giveaways and all that, and we're just having fun. And it just keeps getting better. So, yep, appreciate it. 21 was good. Let's go. 2022.
All right.
And it's not necessarily who is like in it, or who carries the stamp, or it's just the philosophy,
Yeah, exactly.
and the people who we surround us with.
It's the community. It's the community that
it's
we
the
built.
community. It's the gaming family.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a family that's come together, and we've built it, we've nurtured it, and it continues to grow, and it allows
Foster
us
a positive environment.
Yeah, and it allows us to do the things like we did last week, where we had no problem getting 12 people together to play Halo, and doing the community game nights and things like that. And I mean, 2022, that group is going to grow even more.
Oh yeah.
We're going to bring new people in. We're going to we're going to keep growing this family, and really make it a bright light, make it that place people can go. Yeah, and that's maybe one of my best things about 2021 is I met a lot of new people this year. And it's kind of funny because the best and the worst came from the best part of the best and part of the worst came from the Amico. Kind of funny. And hey, there's Rab.
And he just summed it up right there. Man, Rab, you're awesome.
Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
Oh yeah, thanks, Retro Advisory Board, for the 1999 super chat. This show, these guys right here in the community you foster, see all of you in so many places supporting people and having fun. 2021 highlight. GOG and the friends around you. Happy New Year, extending gaming family.
Happy New Year, Rab. Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Rab.
And that's so like Dread, part of my best was, we always said win, lose, or draw with the Intellivision Amico. We had to meet some great people. We got to meet Rab in person, along with Dread and Cyrus and Nick, Rich, Chuck, and
level 187.
Level 187.
Yeah.
And that's been one of the great things, that it just goes towards this community of what this is about. And one of the other things has been, watching Seth sort of get into little bonding with me over gaming, getting these little retro game boxes and stuff like that, and seeing him start to shine on camera a little bit. I think one of my fondest memories of Amico Fest was having him live streaming with me, right? And those are great things. Another best of 2021 has been Game Pass, and the amount of games that has just come down the pike that we maybe don't get a chance to play otherwise, right? Yeah, Jago, they really are. They're great guys. There's a lot of great people. It's just I just it is so many. Worst of 2021, delays everywhere. This has been, you summed up part of my worst was the Intellivision Amigo delay, Chris. You know, we all wanted this thing in 2020. We knew Corona, not the good Corona, was gonna stop that, but we really hoped 2021 would be the time, and things just have not gotten better. And the good news is the light at the end of the tunnel for that's coming. It's got to come soon because they're in manufacturing. So, it is. We're gonna get it this year. It's just a matter of when. But really, not having it in October was a tough one. Seeing everything delayed in 2021. Not having enough consoles on shelves for people to buy has been a really bad thing. Not being able to walk into your standard Walmarts and Targets and Best Buys and stuff and buy a PlayStation 5 or a Series X. That's something that hopefully next year will get better.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I feel like that is getting better because I've seen pictures of people posting like, hey, Series X is just on the shelf. I mean, they're very sparingly, obviously, but so if that is,
Yeah, the S is there.
The S
I've
is
seen
there.
the S.
Yeah, I can go to Costco and buy like 20 of them.
Yeah. That's been tough. But I tell you what another thing that's been kind of the best of 2021, and that's this. And you two. And obviously, Dredd, you've been a guest on a few times. We've had some great guests on, and we've had a lot of fun. But just this, the three of us, knowing that no matter what is going on in our lives, no matter how much we game together, whether or not we even get a chance to play our games at all, we've gotten together every Thursday night and continue to do this as our own family, as my extended family. And without this, especially with COVID and and having to keep our kids home and not go anywhere and not live life as normal, having this has been just such a godsend to have. So I put you two in my best of 2021 as well.
Yeah,
agree, brother. Appreciate it. Love you guys.
Yeah, I love you guys. Of course, again, Dre, we love you too, man.
I know.
Meeting you was awesome. And I will tell you that I will also never, for better or for worse, I will never forget that car ride. That was
because I will never let you forget it.
Well, it's immortalized in,
Yeah.
But I mean, that whole car ride was just so, just so great, so fun. Cyrus's reactions to everything. I still think the funniest thing was still this house. This house looks like the shed that's behind the house. The creepy shed behind us.
Hysterical. Oh,
he was hysterical because he was so deadpan. He was just so deadpan about it. When Seth going, I don't know why you're scared. I don't know why you're scared of this, Mr. Cyrus. I camp out in this all the time. So, just things like that have helped this year be what it is. So
see, but and not to distract you, but that stuff like this, these little mishaps, are what make great stories and great friendships.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't a negative experience. It was, well, maybe for Cyrus, but you know, it's sharing these experiences. Okay, yeah, it didn't have anything to do with gaming, but it did, because if it wasn't for this podcast, I wouldn't have been invited. I wouldn't have been able to have the inside scoop to be able to book my flight and get everything set up and meet up with you guys. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff that, yeah, you know, we make fun of certain situations, but if it wasn't for these situations, it would have been a boring trip. You know, and that's why these things live in infamy, not because it's been broadcasted. It's because there's the experience that we shared. And you know, when you do something like that and, you know, you can look back at it, it's a good thing. You know, it's good memories. Sorry, continue on.
Well, in 2022, we're gonna make more of them. You know,
Yep.
2022 is a year we're gonna meet Chris.
I'm hoping that's the plan. Too many games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That is.
I've already told the wife that's it's gonna be on our calendar.
All right. I think that's not that I don't want to keep going, but I just realized that I do have to get up in the morning so we can go to the beach.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
So, unless we have anything else, we can give 2021 the send off, and Mike's about to make this show extended to 2022. Not a chance.
Yeah. No.
Wouldn't that be hilarious though? If one Thursday night would be the 31st. We have to plan that out.
Yeah.
Beat that, Pongso. No, I'm kidding.
So, but you know, we want to wish everybody a very happy New Year. Our gaming family, everybody who's been here with us week in and week out. You know, all of our great guests, all of the people who, you know, just help us to have such great fun doing this. It's wild that we have people that ask, you know, that are, you know, like, hey, when can I be on? Hey, when? I mean, I Dread asked me today, and then, you know, Mac of all said, hey, when can I be on? You know, back hit me up earlier and said, hey, how about the 20th? So, you know, we'll have Back from the Dead on January 20th, and people are just, you know, they're now wanting to come on and be with us, and that's an awesome thing. So we really do appreciate that. You know, I also appreciate a lot of the other, you know, shows and things that I've been a part of and done. You know, Retro Roots that we're doing on Monday nights with me and Mr. Matthews and Nick. You know, I've been on with DJ C. I've been on with Retro Bro. You know, I've done various shows with them from the Amico side, which have been a lot of fun. You know, and a lot of that is things that I want to, you know, continue to grow as well. And maybe we could grow some things here. You know, we're doing some great things with streaming. We're trying to We're trying to grow that, and I think next year we could probably do some of that a little better as well. I think next year is going to be a great year. I think we're in for some good times. It's going to be a great time from a gaming standpoint.
Oh yeah.
But I think a good time, good from the community standpoint too. So, Happy New Year, everybody. And I hope your 2022 becomes a great year as well. So.
Yes, sir. I think it will be.
So, any last final thoughts?
Play more games.
Play more games.
Yeah,
and that's not the Twitter game. Doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like Peter said, gaming just keeps getting better and better. You're always gonna have plus and minuses, but don't let the negativity, the minority out there, get too loud and distract you from what gaming is about. And the gaming is about having fun. And like I said, not everything's gonna be perfect with gaming, but one thing that I think we can all agree on, no matter where you prefer to play on or whatever, there's too many games out there to enjoy, whether it's single player or multiplayer or genre, whatever. Just the number one thing is to have fun, and that's what we're all about. So going into 2022, hopefully we don't have too many delays. It seems like things are getting better. So, but there's gonna be a lot of gaming, some that we know that is coming, but some that we don't, and that's the beauty of gaming. So 2021 has been great. Xbox has done a great job. PlayStation and all this, don't let people sit there and say, well, this had no games or that. It doesn't matter. There's games, third party, first party, indies, AAA, there's games, plenty of games. So don't let people dictate to you, or Metacritic scores and all that. Play what you like, learn, see it for yourself. There's plenty of us here who are positive, are real. You can watch some streams of guys that play a game. If you don't want to buy it right away, you can watch some of us play it first and, get an idea before you jump in on it, So just take that positivity and go into 22 and just have fun, enjoy gaming. So Happy New Year's, everybody, and love you guys. And let's look forward to 2022.
Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, Diego, we do too, man. Love you too. Cherish our friendships with you. You guys are our family. And that's what it's all about. So, it's amazing too that we have, folks from all over the world that hang out with us, right? Lupa, who
doesn't sleep.
Us a whole show. Who doesn't sleep?
Cyrus.
There's Cyrus. Happy New Year, Cy. We were just talking about you. You must have heard, Dredd, you must have heard his name.
Yeah, I think his ears are burning.
It's like someone's talking about that car trip. But I know, I think we're gonna miss Pear and Pluck tonight, but
yeah.
And we've got guys. We've had guys from Australia. We have Niall from Ireland. We have people from all over and from all across the country, and that's just an awesome thing. That's where our gaming has allowed us to be global like that. Chris is in Texas, Dredd's in Florida, Peter and I are over here on the East Coast. Nick is in Colorado. Chuck, DJC, he's in Michigan. That's amazing. Cyrus is also in Texas. People from all over. That's so wild. Relic Gamer, a good friend of ours. He's in Washington State, on a little remote island in Washington. It has been a crazy year, Cy. It really has. Great times, even though it was a hard year. We, Dread and I were reminiscing on the Crayola event.
Yes, we were.
And talking about how great that was. And the Amityville horror car ride. So, thank you everybody who's been in chat, and thank you everybody who has watched, clicked like, sent us a super chat, become a member, who's helped us out as mods, who has been here when we've streamed, who just come in and talk games with us, who have gamed with us, who we've met. Thank you to our friends of NLG channel members. To everyone who's ever, who this year has gotten like a piece of merch from us and shown it, like MAGG who got a shirt from us and showed it over on Gaming After Dark. To all of you guys who have, shown us, who've shown us love in every way that you can, and are able. Thank you guys so much. This is, we're here because of you. And that means a lot to us. So, Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to our Gamers United Guild brethren, some of which who are in the chat right now. DJC, Cyrus, Nick was here. Lupa, Jago, part of the Renegades. Who else? Invader was here earlier from TXR. Bacon Ice Cream Productions. Rich, I don't know if Rich is still in here, but Rich is part of the GUG. Very great member of our GUG. Definitely one of the ones who exudes that positivity. See who else has been in here tonight that's part of the group. But if I missed anybody, because I'm getting tired. But oh no, Tabstar. But thank you and Happy New Year, everybody. There you go. Back says was pretty nice first time he was on as a guest. He won an NLG hat. That is correct.
Oh yeah.
So we'll look forward to seeing back on the 20th. So Dread, thanks for popping in with us tonight, man.
Oh no, thank you for having me. I saw that you posted something about being on, so I figured I'd reach out.
Absolutely. And we never know, because I know you have a crazy work schedule. So, when you're not working.
That's the funny thing is I've been on vacation for the past 2 weeks, and I've been working while on vacation. So it's just one of those things. Like last night, I worked even though I wasn't supposed to, and got home late this morning. Crashed out, woke up, hit you up, and here I am. Like you said, you never know.
You never know. So, all right. So, Peter, Chris, I know I will talk to you probably sometime tomorrow, but next time we game, it'll probably be 2022.
Probably will be.
I am taking the Razor Kishi with me, so as long as the internet is good, I will have some online presence. But other than that, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Happy New Year. Try to get some New Year's gaming in. Pick up that controller. And we'll see you next year.
Yes.
Play on, gamers.
Game on. Happy New Year.
Love
Adios,
you guys.
gamers.
Everybody.
Happy gaming.
Happy New Year.